still exposing his position. It's a risky engage.
Booga and Aviv on the other side find their way to the new zone. The half in, half out already revealed. They're below the surge though. They will have to find a duo or land on someone shortly, and from their sights, there isn't anyone nearby. There it is. Finally, they see a fresh build. It's going to be Teeny, and it's a single box, so the confidence is surging here, but Booga damage first. No extra heals. This is all around disastrous, right, for Booga and Aviv right now. And it's only a matter of moments. They will have to do something shortly. Meanwhile, Huddy already out. Kovacs below the surge as well. Will fall here shortly if he can't find a tag now. But Reet finds it instead, and that's your 5th place team now. Consistency tossed down for once. And it's looking like a repeat performance of yesterday for Huddy and Kovacs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to really be able to bulldoze your way as a solo through Reet and Ritual of all duos. Peterbot and Boyo, though, this is the furthest we've seen them make it all day today, so they're clearly trying to ramp up for a big performance here in the 9th lobby. But Clix and Benno, on the other hand, they've got Gears and Sherry in their sights. They've got a very efficient cutoff, but more importantly still, they need more damage. It's gonna take them some time, but finally Clix will connect. 77 above though. Damage threshold just continuing to threaten so many of our teams here today.
Yeah, if you were hoping to get lucky with Peterbot and Boyo, that already happened, right? Like 2 games, unprecedented. Doesn't happen often for them not to be in the end game. So this is everyone's chance now. The playing field has been even. Nicely done by Aviv here. Not only did he actually pick up and save Booga, but he manages to find damage to keep them in the game and enough damage on the duo to have them to stop peeking so they can rotate, but it is not looking good for Aviva and Booga. I don't know what more we can expect of them, but there are a lot of duos there. Toyota and Mapoli, the strongest Asian duo from day number 1. They finished in 10th, so they came in today with a lot to live up to, but have fallen a bit short now up against the likes of Aviv and Booga here. What can Ping and Walks do?
There's ever a time to prove himself, it's now for Aviv, but he has so little HP to work with. But he has plenty of targets surrounding him. Booga, though, just too low for the count. Sato's gonna find him. Aviv trying to go massive now to Reet. A little bit of spoiler, getting some tags and cracking those shields. But the fact of the matter is, Aviv and Booga, they squeeze their way into the top 10, but they still go down for it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Thomas HD, you see there, just racking up eliminations, damage, everything that you could be hoping for. And there's another one onto K Shoto outside of the zone here, trying to make their late rotates. Clicks, it is not looking good for him at the moment, as he's also in the storm right now. Vino is down. This is just a desperate spot to be in.
Clicks, if anything, was just hoping to play for maybe another elimination at the end of the day, though. He's only got a little bit of sliver of HP to work with, but it's just enough. He might be able to clutch out at least 1 or 2 more placements if he can just stay hidden, fully concealed from the rest of the lobby. Only 3 builds though, MDF. I fear we're looking at the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really close here. 8 HP for Clicks, 3 mats to work with, late on the rotate here. Barely above the surge. It's just so tough. But he's staying alive here, earning little bits of placement, right? All this does start to add up here. Finds Mapoli, very weak. Almost gets an elimination there. Someone else ends up stealing it, but still, he's in the game right now, holding on.
He's at least got that 33 damage above the threshold. But again, MDF, it's just the odds so fully stacked against him. Any of these next builds that he crosses over could be his last. Teams could just be waiting for a perfect opportunity to scoop up a free 6 points from the backside of the zone, though. Clicks continue to try and charge through, hoping that he can catch another player off guard, but he sees gone. He knows that there's a knocked body, but he won't be able to power through and push into these boxes with the armored walls going up, instead trying to remain concealed. But Boyo, Peterbot, they're gonna find him.
Of course, it's Boyo and Peterbot waiting to catch them in the web. Look at this though, Cammy and Seti. They talked about what they need to do in order to win this tournament here, and that is win more games. They got the last round, and then they didn't even sit down and celebrate. They know that they have to stay absolutely locked in here. But Queasy and Thomas HD are doing the same right now. Below the surge though, things can continue to develop here. Biko and Flixie now on the move. 3 Elans. Peterbot and Boyo very, very situated right now, but low on material.
Low on material, not only that, but Biko and Flixie hot on the heels as well. You have to consider they're making up a lot of lost ground just off the eliminations alone. And Peterbot and Boyo know it. They're just gonna try to play it out and control the low ground for the time being. But with that reveal medallion scanner having just gone out, it's a fresh opportunity for them to see if they can close in on somebody else. Chicho, though, with a big tag onto CZB. That's going to be the knock. And Peterbot, instead, finding Badil in the bottom layers. That's going to be a beautiful refresh for him and Boyo.
This is starting to look like a 4-way race unless Dukes and Sphinx can get a win. They're another top 10 team, of course. But Peterbot and Boyo are cooking right now. And also, they picked up material here. This low ground performance is one to take note of. On the other side, Thomas HD and Queasy are also playing the low ground here, but not so hot looking for them at the moment as they are running out of material. So very different start situations happening here.
They're at least healthy, though, and with that Gatekeeper shotgun primed, it only takes one good shot for Thomas HD to find the refresh necessary. They're going to continue to sink in from behind the rest of the foot traffic there, playing from the backside of zone. Peterbot, Boyo, meanwhile, staying ahead of the pack.
Thomas
has lost Thomas. He's going to opt for the medkit opportunity instead, and with 0 builds remaining, it's all going to boil down to whether or not he can even make it into the zone and stay concealed enough for nobody else to pick him off.
There it is. He's going to break through the sidewall. This has all been edited. Baka's very weak. White HP. The armor wall comes through. Not worth, of course, pursuing at this moment. He has to focus in on staying in the front side here. No builds to work with. Enemy around the backside. Can he get one? More points for him. This is huge for Queasy now. Earning points, earning eliminations. He has to stay ahead of Peterbot, who is on the low ground with a down teammate. Peterbot, so much more to work with, however. It's still so close for everyone else. Another med kit is going to start coming out for Queasy.
He's just doing everything he can to survive. Peterbot, though, going to pick up Teeny in the process. Queasy finds another into Rapid. Not going to get a chance, though, to collect the body loot. Instead, he's scrambling, trying to remain out of sight here. Tulix and Chicho right behind him, but Peterbot grabs him in the end.
That's exactly what he needed as well. Peterbot trying to take back these points here. Finishing off Trulex now inside of a top 5 situation up on height. It's Dukes though with Peterbot looking to fight back. Do not count him out. It is all solos remaining here. Tito goes down. The next one is down too. Batman Booga sent back to the lobby. 3 players now here. Peterbot looking at 1v1v1 and another one. Down goes Bars. Can he find the final fight here? Dukes is excellent in these type of scenarios, but Peterbot is just a little better. Up top, the high ground hit is good, and he needs to go. And he does it again.
Peterbot, there is a reason why everyone is regarding him as the best in the world, and with a performance like that, he might just be.
Put him in the box, wrap him up, and send them back to the lobby is the motto here. Well played.
Would you please, forward, put your hands together for Peterbot and Boyo! Oh my, Peterbot, that is how, that was ice cold. That is how you do it. Walk us through the last part of the game there. We just saw you sweep up. You are like unstoppable.
Yeah, I don't know. I just eliminated everyone. I mean, everyone was a solo player on me. Gold Gatekeeper with Drum Mag. I was just eliminating everyone. It was pretty easy.
I mean, you're right there with the guy. The crowd are behind you too. Pollo, unbelievable work from your duo partner here. When you see that in the end game, how are you reacting? How are you feeling in that moment?
I saw it was 5 solos, and I just had a feeling he was going to win the game, too. I just had a feeling.
You just had the instinct. You just knew it was going to happen. Peterbot as well, obviously, the first 2 games, they didn't go according to plan, but that is the way to go into the break on this final Sunday. How do you guys feel like the first 2 games? Things are really looking good now going into this break. What do you do to regroup during this halftime break?
Yeah, we're going to talk to our coach and go over the first 2 games and see what went wrong, and yeah, we'll go from there.
And anything you want to say to Queasy and Thomas HD for the first couple of matches as well? I mean, obviously the crowd here are very excited too. He's checking his stats on screen. He's looking at the leaderboard, and we have ourselves a, hey, this is flip-flopping all the way here, but there's a difference in points now. You guys are back on top.
Thank God. God did.
Okay, and Pollo, going into this last part now, you two, how are you feeling? Are you confident that that is definitely within your grasp? 3 games left to go.
Yeah, I think we can win. Just replicate what we did last game and the other games we won yesterday as well.
Okay, well, let's see exactly how it's going to unfold. One more time, Fort Worth, give it up for Peterbot and Pollo! This is one serious Global Championships final. 3 games left to play today. We can't wait to see what happens next. Zeke, what do you guys think? This is blowing my mind.
My hands are up. My hands are up. I don't know what's happening anymore. I cannot even believe this. First off, how did this game end as a solos? This is a duos competition. Solos running around, and just the fact that Peterbot pulls off one of the most insane solo clutches, right? I mean, Pollo goes down in 11.
Yeah, and then Peterbot, one by one, systematically takes out the rest of the lobby. And you can see it in his load up right there. And he called it out, the gatekeeper, with that drum mag. So no longer does he just have 3 shots. Oh, is there 5 solos? Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I have in my gatekeeper. I am going to take down everyone. And it was such a good run from them on the low ground. Even though they did have a little bit of a rough start with these first 2 games of the day, they did not let that knock them down. And now they're knocking everyone else out.
I mean, this is what you need to do.
And now they're knocking everyone else out.
I mean, this is what you need to do to win a global championships. You need massive solo clutches like this. I mean, these final moments right here, every single elimination, every single refresh he was able to get was just compounding. Look at all these builds that he was able to get. Double elimination right there was absolutely crazy. And I noticed when I looked at the Duke's POV, Duke's had no materials. So Peterbot had the advantage. This elimination on low ground was crazy as well. Peterbot had so many more materials than him, so he took height perfectly. And I thought for a moment there was a moment last Globals where Dukes had an insane solo clutch from the low ground. I thought, are we going to see a similar sort of thing again? But then, of course, it's Peterbot. He was only going to win that.
You know, they like to say that sometimes people like to put people into a false sense of security. Oh, Peterbot and Pollo, day 2, they're washed. Everyone else, this is when they put them into that sense of, maybe we have a chance. Oh no, Peterbot and Pollo, they're still there to fight. They're still there to show that they are the best in the world and at the top of the leaderboard.
Oh no, they've reclaimed that spot for just a moment. Thomas HD Queasy had it. And for a moment, it was like, okay, the reign's over. Could this be the moment? And then Peterbot and Pollo answered that question. No! Nice try, fools! I cannot believe what we did on top of that. Here we are. Here we are.
56 eliminations. Look at that column 1 in from the right. 56. Nobody else comes even close to that. The second place team, Thomas and Queasy, 29 eliminations. I mean, we saw them do it online. We saw them W King. We saw them being such a menace to the lobby. I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, are they really going to be able to do that on this global stage in front of the best teams in the world, in front of this amazing audience in person? Yes is the answer. They can do it. They can still do it. And I mean, that's a great response after the first 2 games. Wasn't the best for them, but that's a response of winners right there.
However, there are still 3 more games to go. We have already seen the leaderboard in first place change between 2 teams, and we do see that there are other duos on that leaderboard that are within reach. And we now know that Peterbot and Pollo are not invulnerable. We did see them go down in games 7 and 8. There was a
possibility that that happens again. However, I love what they're saying. They're going to go back to their coach. They're going to go review specifically what went wrong in those games, and hopefully they never replicate it again.
That's right, and you saw them there on screen. Yep. They're right at it, right? They are really quickly trying to identify those issues. On the flip side, Thomas HD and Queasy, right? How they must be feeling. For a moment, it was ours, and now the rug pulled out from underneath them. We have a listen-in from this last game. Take a look.
God, stay down there! On me, I'm probably dead. On me. I'm dying right here, and this is flashes. Nice. He's hella solos, bro. Nice, bro. You have 5 metal walls. Body. Also, bro, all solos. 5 solos. Nice. Get 2 bodies there. 2 more solos. You need to reload. One's on height. I think you go up. Nice, bro. Get. Except 20 builds, but you can fizz. Nice. I'm the best player in the world, baby! Oh my god. Come on! Let's go! You're actually crazy. Holy, bro, let's go!
Yeah, so remember for like a moment, like a lot of yesterday, we had that like super cocky Peterbot, and then like for the first 2 games he was there. He's back, he never left again. He was just like, it was like the dangling the carrot, like, yeah, everything's cool, everything's fine. These guys are beatable, just kidding. That's not the case.
I do want to mention, though, yes, Peterbot and Pollo did absolutely well there, but Queasy, a solo on the low ground with no mats, able to get back-to-back eliminations as well, just making sure that they are still collecting those points because they don't want to see the 150-point deficit that they saw from yesterday.
Yeah, they really don't. Really well-played game from these guys. I mean, it's unfortunate that Peterbot and Pollo had such a good game from their perspective because this was another solid performance from them. You saw how Thomas HD went down right there. Really unfortunate situation. Queasy was actually able to pick up Thomas HD's materials once he was finally eliminated in the storm, so that just kept him going and allowed him to make this solo clutch. Some really nice eliminations. This one in particular, unfortunate that he couldn't get those builds, because I think if he could have got those builds, he would have had a little bit of a better placement in the end. But solo clutching 6 is so good, and particularly for Queasy, who I feel like people don't often give him the credit as a really great mechanical player. It's all about Thomas HD. He's the fragger, he's the best player in this duo, but no, Queasy has what it takes as well. He's proved it previously, he's proved it today. He is one that can perform as a solo.
And think just off that performance, right? That was enough to kind of, because Peterbot and Pollo could have run off, right? Yeah. And that was enough to just hold them on and just say, like, look, you're going to pull ahead, but I'm going to make sure that lead is not as big as it could have been. Props to Queasy after that, my goodness. Also as well, just a couple highlights from that last game, Dukes and Sphinx. Dukes making into that 2nd place, they burned so much for that high ground, though. Still 2nd place, placement and eliminations, that's huge.
Yeah, and Dukes and Sphinx had a pretty good day 1 as well, so to keep that rolling into day number 2, to control high ground there as well was very smart. Cammy and Seti for a moment there had high ground, but then they saw that they had low mats. That's when Dukes and Sphinx went up, and Cammy and Seti very smartly dropping down, not even trying to fight for it, because when you have no mats, what's the point there? Dukes and Sphinx capitalizing on that awareness, did a great job in that game.
Yeah, they did, and as you mentioned, Zeke, it's always tough to sort of keep those materials going when you're a high ground team like that. We saw at the end, Dukes didn't quite have the materials to try and win that final 1v1. I expect to see this team making more end games, though. It's nice to see them getting that 2nd place, as you mentioned, a really solid day for them yesterday. So building on that, not crumbling under the pressure of having that good performance in day 1. I'm excited to see what they can do.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Fortnite fam, we are now at the halfway point of the competition. Only 3 games left to go. Our players have left the stage. Now they'll have a moment here of respite. They'll be able to eat, talk to their coaches. So when we return from this next break, we'll have more for you here from the FNCS.
make it even funner. How about my favorite on one of the biggest screens in the world?
Today we're going big. Big shout out to NASCAR for bringing us out here to the Texas Motor Speedway, just outside of Fort Worth, where we've invited some Fortnite players to play on the NASCAR Daytona rocket racing map. It's going to be a great time.
I think the biggest monitor I've played on is like 30 inches maybe, so that's a huge upgrade for sure. Just to show y'all how big that monitor actually is. Here, zoom in, see if you can see Venom. I think you need probably 1 million Venoms to make that whole entire monitor. Yeah, he's waving right there.
It would be sick to do a tournament here.
A tournament on the screen, bro?
That'd be fun. I'd love to do that.
Come on in.
Big lead on.
Have you ever played on a screen this big?
No, not this big. I'll go first.
Oh,
okay. Instead, he's confident.
Take away.
I don't
Take
think
it
you're gonna
away.
win though.
We're gonna jump in. We're gonna see who can get the fastest times today. We're gonna do some times, right? And it's live. Let's go.
You already
This guy's already
twisted
won.
turns, man. You're 6 laps.
He's played this before. I feel like he's
What's the
played.
timer?
Maybe he's not played it before. The minimum half-time to activate your boost.
So you sit in this 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Get a gun. That's a romp.
Are you next?
Lemon, is it Lemon?
Evan's gonna get the worst score, bro.
Really?
Don't get nervous, Chris.
And it's live. Let's go. 320 to beat. No pressure at all. But if you don't beat the score, it will be pretty embarrassing for you.
Can you see what the kilometers is? Like with the numbers? Yeah, I see.
We bugged them now. You've lost a lot of seconds there, bro. Clicks is rocking in with a
3-11. That's why I said. That's why I said. That's why I said it was much.
That's not great. That's not great.
By 9 seconds.
So Cooper's stepping up next. Oh, bit of a slow start there, lad.
Yeah. Wait, how am I slow though?
I think you'll hit sub 3 minutes at the moment, yeah.
You got
Strong finish. You got like strong finish.
253. Oh no.
That's a good time. That's a good time. Start your engine, lads. Let's go. Strong start.
Better than Cooper?
Canada.
Yeah, wrap this up. No, not
There's a bug on me. No, I'm getting green. Good, I'm green. Not on me. It's on me, bro. No, this bug's on me. I'm getting green, bro.
Oh, what's it gonna be?
Damn. No.
What's it gonna be? Ooh, 3 minutes on the
7
clock.
seconds,
8 seconds
short,
out.
bro.
surprises in the competition so far today. And Blake Heckett, why don't we throw a surprise your way as well? Why don't you go ahead and turn your head that way real quick? Everybody, it is Blake's birthday! On three, I need one giant happy birthday for Blake himself. 1, 2, 3, happy birthday! Go ahead, Blake, go ahead and make a wish right there. There it is. How you feeling?
I just wish to qualify for Global Championship next year.
That's how you know he's a competitor. Somerset, you are always by Blake's side. Any words of affirmation for him?
Happy birthday. You're getting old. Everyone's making these accusations that you're washed now. So next year for Global, you got to prove them wrong. Let's go.
There we go. Listen, we have some cake to celebrate with up here. There's going to be a celebration at the end of the day, and Queasy and Thomas are hoping to be a part of that.
Yeah, they really are. Can you make sure that you save us all three here some birthday cake? I would be devastated if you didn't, all right? I'm joined by Queasy and Thomas HD here. We have got ourselves a serious championship Sunday. Queasy, the first three games, I mean, we had ourselves a lot of points scored early on, and Peter Poyo going down gave you guys a real advantage to get up that leaderboard, and you were the top spot for a while. Walk us through those first kind of couple of games and how that went really well for you guys, ensuring that you are definitely in contention for that trophy.
I mean, we're just trying to be consistent, but it's hard to compete with Thanos himself, you know, so we'll see.
Thanos himself. I mean, Thomas as well. I mean, you obviously in that third game watching Queasy there, who managed to clutch up and just carry on going. You need those kind of plays in finals like this, don't you?
Yeah, I was like really hyped that he clutched up a few elims and he clutched from top 12 till top 6, I think, or something. Yeah, I'm proud of him.
Well, I mean, there's only like, what, 40 or 50 points between you guys and top spot right now, which is absolutely doable with the 1.5 multiplier. The last three games, does anything change for you guys? Is there any kind of strat coming into this you think this is how we go for it, or is the consistency and the complacency of where you are right now going to get you through and up to that main stage to lift that trophy?
I mean, I don't think we can change much. Don't really have time to make adjustments, but we just keep doing what we're doing, and we hope it's enough.
I want to hear about one for a second here, you guys as a partnership. What is it like playing alongside Thomas HD? I guess a lot of people at home right now wishing they could be next to you guys, competing with you. What's this guy like playing next to?
It's amazing, and it's pretty easy to play, you know? That's about it.
Same question for you. I mean, this guy, he's done it all as well. Queasy is the man. Same thing. What is it like this season?
On va tous y passer, les gars.
I mean, it's great playing with Queasy. Like, I don't think there's anyone else that I want to play like a LAN like this with than Queasy. I think he's like the best idea.
Ouais, mais Timothée, je te rappelle, t'as pas de pot dans ta classe.
See exactly what happens. Will they manage to go all the way and lift that trophy on behalf of the EU? I hope so. Let's head our way back over to the rest of the gang and see what they have to say.
On behalf of NA, I also hope so. That's just my opinion. Welcome back here from the FNCS. We just are sitting here at the halfway point. Man, that last game was so crazy once again. Obviously, we would love to see Thomas HD and Queasy win, but also that story, Peter Bob and Poyo, the back and forth. It's a really great story.
It really is a great storyline, and I hope that we get to see both of these players make it to the end game for the next 3 games as well. However, like I said before, there is still an opportunity for other teams below them to climb up the leaderboard, and to not forget that this isn't just a fight for first place. Everyone is still trying to climb up this leaderboard, make sure that they get into those placements where the 6-digit figures are.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it there from them directly in the interview. We don't really have time to change things right now. They've had a very, very good day overall. Of course, they came out on top in game number 1. 2 very solid games here as well, going into the halfway point. It's just the fact that Peter Bottom Poyer had such an incredible game number 3 that they really are just taking everyone by storm right now. Still within reach, though, as you mentioned earlier, Ronzi.
Yeah, and just look at this leaderboard here, right? Like, first place, right, 608, 569. So we got first and second kind of fighting it out. Third and fourth, right, in that 400, almost 500 range, they're fighting out. Fifth, all the way down to 9th. And you could even argue Bolt and Bryce are even trying to fight up into that competition. Guys, this is still anyone's game. We only have 3 games left to go. During this halftime, what do you guys think is kind of going through the players' minds? What are the things they're looking to change? Because the moment you fall, if you start this game and you fall outside of placements or eliminations, now you're only going to have 2 games left, and then vice versa, 1 game left. There's only so many opportunities left, Kelly.
You know, it's interesting because we've now had 2 interviews of Peterbot and Pollo and now Queasy and Thomas HD, and there's a bit of a juxtaposition for what they're doing during this halftime show. Where Peterbot and Pollo, they're going back to the review, they're talking to their coaches. Whereas Queasy and Thomas HD, it seems more that they are kind of calming themselves. They don't want to look too into it. They don't want to kind of freak themselves out because maybe if they doubt themselves now, it's only going to get worse from them. So I think it really depends on the player, on the duo, how they're going to be able to kind of handle this situation going into the final 3 games.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is their situation of spawn as well. Of course, Peterbot and Pollo, they have the best medallion in the game. They have the best assault rifle in the game as well. Their plan right now, their main concern is getting landed on. What could happen in these final 3 games? Could there be a team in maybe 50th place, down there, 40th place, that could think, you know what, we've got 3 games to make something happen, 1.5x points, why don't we just go for the best loot, see what we can make of it? If Peterbot and Pollo can do it, why can't we? I don't think Queasy and Thomas have that same concern. Yes, they're not in first place, but their drop spot isn't necessarily the most overpowered drop spot. It hasn't got those medallions, it hasn't got those mythics. So I think that's where the difference in their strategy and their approach to this halftime break has been, because I think Peterbot and Pollo are in that danger zone right now. Anything can happen.
I mean, we heard at the start of the day, I believe it was Acorn and Cole, that they said, listen, if we're up there in 2nd place and it's Peterbot and Pollo, we're going to be landing on them. I don't know if they're going to be doing that now, but still that does showcase that that mentality is in the mind of all these competitors, that they are willing to do something crazy to change things up. And of course, that brings us back to the reminiscent days of Invitational 2022, where it was Queasy and Veno dropping onto Cammy and Seti and making one of the best plays that we have ever seen in the FNCS ever.
Just imagine for a moment. Let me just paint you a mental picture. And I'm not saying this come true, but I did write it in the script. Peterbot Pollo, suddenly Thomas HDE, Queasy, they're both contesting each other. They decided we're gonna fight it out right here. And then all the rest of the lobby is just like, we're also gonna be part of this. We're just gonna eliminate both of you. And just kidding. I hope that doesn't happen. But that's a very interesting point. In that moment, you know, in Invitational, we would have never, and I don't think anyone would have ever imagined that was what the play that would have been made. And so here with 3 games left, you got to start thinking as a duo, like, bro, we can make one of those plays. It's high risk, high reward. But at the end of the day, like, it could win us a global championship. It could send us into the top 10 and receive life-changing amount of money. I mean, there's so much on the line here.
I think that was a very specific situation, though, in the Invitational, where Cammy and Seti and Queasy and Veno were so far ahead of the competition that even if Queasy and Veno did go down in 2nd place, they would have been there regardless, because they knew that Cammy and Seti were so much stronger in the end game there. So I think that as far as other players landing on the raft, because there was at 1.4 teams, why not 40 teams? I think that is a very specific situation, because a lot of these teams are still trying to climb up that leaderboard and not sacrifice those placement points.
I think it is a specific situation, but I also think it's a specific situation that could actually happen, right? With how well those top 2 teams are playing, it could happen, Zeke.
That's right. Our players are taking the stage once again. They are preparing themselves mentally. But this is not the only competition that has been going on this weekend. There's another one happening on the Fortnite Battle Stage!
So we're here, Fortnite Festival Battle Stage Dallas. So here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna have each individual on a band. They're all gonna compete amongst themselves. The top player at the end of a battle stage competition will advance to the next round. And the next round is gonna be the finals for Battle Stage Dallas. At the end of Battle Stage Dallas, we will crown the best Fortnite Festival Battle Stage champion.
So this is arguably like the largest prize pool in like guitar game history, and the fact that Fortnite Festival Battle Stage Champions is happening at all is like, it's incredible.
This is the most calm, the most zen I've ever felt going into a tournament. Won 3 national championships in the old days. Looking forward to maybe adding another.
All right, guys, welcome to round 1 of Fortnite Battle Stage Dallas. May the best rocker win.
Told you right now, I'm gonna win the whole thing.
somehow I pulled it out at the end by just a couple thousand points. I'm barely shaking now still. I'm still shaking. I'm sweaty. That was very nerve-wracking, but I'm glad that we were able to get it done.
All right, guys, welcome to round 3 of Fortnite Festival Battle Stage Dallas.
Nerves being up here is just insane. Like, you are not prepared until you get up here. Battle stage is completely different from main stage. Like, it's truly competition at its finest.
Hey, this is my first time playing at an official tournament in over a decade. Feels pretty good. Let's be honest here. So let's go!
Welcome to the finals of Fortnite Festival Battle Stage Dallas. And for the winner, we've got a little something special.
Where's my D-pad? I dropped to activating!
Congratulations, Moose, for winning, and congratulations to the Rift Raiders.
I did it for him. He couldn't be here with us today, but I was here. He was here with us in spirit, and I did it for him. My best friend, I don't know how to feel yet. I don't know. It doesn't even feel real at this point. But it is real because I'm holding the golden guitar. So that's very cool. I could be more happy with how I played.
I hope we see more competitive events like this in the future. Because, man, so many people getting into great music. So many people getting into competition. That's what it's about. Love it.
Well, next time, I'm definitely bringing it home. Moose better watch over his back.
Shout-outs there. Fortnite Festival Battle Stage Champion. That's what I'm going to be doing after this. I know this has been super fun. I'm just going to go. I'm terrible at that. Let's just, yeah, anyway. Here we are, though, back once again. We are almost ready to jump back into the action. As we kind of talked about, only 3 games left to go. And then we are looking to crown global champions, Kelly.
It's finally happening. I mean, since 2023, where we saw Cooper and Miro raise their trophy, I've been waiting for this moment, and to see these two teams so close in reach of that title of the FNCS Global Champion, I cannot wait to get into this next game.
I'm so happy it's close. I'm so happy it's so close. As a neutral, if you're watching and you don't have a team that you're following, I think it's so good that things are so neck and neck going into these last 3 games. And of course, with that 1.5x points multiplier, anything can change so quickly. So even the likes of Vico and Flixie, if Peterbottom, Poyo, Thomas, and Queasy don't have a very good end to the day, Vico and Flixie could be your FNCS Global Champions for this year. So it's still all to play for, and it's going to be electric, Zeke. This is really where, this is the business end of the competition, we call it.
I know, we just cannot discredit this Victory Royale. 100 points. Yeah. I mean, right? A single duo could find themselves a Victory Royale, and then everything changes. This leaderboard shakes up. We could see Peterbottom and Poyo have a slip-up like they've had, right? The same thing for Thomas AG. Any of these teams could. Now, we don't want that, but it could happen with 3 games remaining.
Yeah, and I love the way that these end games have been going. We've had wins from the high ground, we've had wins from the low ground, we've had solo competitions, we've had 2v2v2s. It has just been an all-encompassing experience of what Fortnite has to offer.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything, haven't we? Solo clutches went crazy. Of course, there's that one game today where we had like 5 or 6 solos just in the game alone. So yeah, we've kind of had a little taste of everything. Now this is where things get really serious. I expect to see a little bit of change of strategy from some of our teams that maybe aren't doing so great. Some of the teams at the top, I think I'm expecting more nerves from, because this is really where it's make or break.
I think this is also where we're going to see a lot of issues with Storm Surge. A lot of players playing as safe as they can possibly be because they don't want to get eliminated. Regardless of going for those eliminations, they want those placement points. So I think that it's going to be a bit of a struggle for a lot of the teams that don't have kind of those off-spawn fights or other duos near them. They're going to have to make some big rotations to get those tags, or at least have some strategy in their back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to start diving into what has changed, right? These players have had this time to kind of just wash away. Those first 9 games don't matter. We just have to show up for the next 3. These next 3 games will define our legacy, the legacy we leave here at the FNCS Global Championship. It is time. This is game number 10. Let's load right back on that battle bus with MDF and the best taco.
Thank you guys so much. And yes, MDF, we have officially crossed the halfway point. Match number 10 is in sight. And what's even more crazy to even consider currently was that performance out of Peterbot to close things off, because so many of these teams, they just had to sit and ice out for 20 minutes watching that. But we're ready to see what match 10 has in store for us. And like I'd already mentioned, MDF, everyone witnessing Peterbot's pop-off to conclude match number 9, then you go with your duo, you sit and you wait, think, talk, but what do you do realistically when you are dealing with the Thanos of the lobby?
Yeah, I mean, hey, they said it, we didn't, right? This is the truth of the matter, is that everyone looks up to this team as clearly the most powerful in the lobby, but now that we are in the back half, I mean, that short break does allow for other teams to try to sit down and formulate a strategy. 30 minutes between a game where you get to look into the VOD, look into the replay client, right? Feel out what exactly is going on around you is a huge, huge opportunity. I mean, even now, we're seeing people like Acorn potentially find fights there in the feed, but Huddy and Kovacs need to just escape this duo, quite honestly.
Seems like Sky beat Huddy and Kovacs to the punch. He's actually got a Gatekeeper shotgun, which is going to fare significantly better, you would think at least, but Huddy actually going to find the first assault. Sky has been knocked. It's exclusively down to Scroll now to try and stay alive, but he's not going to be able to make it work. Huddy and Kovacs, once again, fully in control and commanding Rebels Roost.
Very nicely done for them now, as we are just jumping into things here. Peterbot, Boyo looking pretty good now. What's happening though? There's action happening here at the raft. They don't want nothing to do with it as they're shying away. Swizzy and Japko get a little bit of loot and just back off as fast as possible. You know, it is pretty interesting to think about a 40-point gap that was once at the start of the event, closed, and then all of a sudden sprung right back into the action come the back half. So really showing you that when Peterbot and Pollo win a game, it's usually explosive.
And the other thing that's important to note, though, is over at the raft, sure, we're seeing quick departures from Swizzy and Yapko, but their intent for 2 days in a row now has been exclusively get what they can and then immediately start to head towards the weapons bunker. That's been their big play, is trying to establish their surge damage around the underworld, around Grim Gate, but for Clix and Veno, it's another beast entirely. They're dealing with Damo and Resigns. Resigns, though, not going to be able to work his way out of this one, but Clix could pay the price instead. Cuts off into the corner. Damo left to fend for himself here, but Clix is incredibly low. Veno has been knocked, and it's going to be Oshi coming out on top. A massive upset for Clix and Veno. They were inside of our top 10, but with that confidence secure by Damo, this is a real opportunity because this is the fastest conclusion we've seen yet.
Yeah, and you know, you saw what happened there. They didn't have material to work with. Things ended so fast, and not being able to secure the elimination itself is also just small points lost here. Jumping in with Chicho and Trulix, finding body tags. The Monarch pistol obviously hitting in the range of that 60 plus, but Kanata and Cooper, this is the earliest we've seen them go head to head up against Alex and Worthy, forcing them out of the drop. That was just one of the two, though. Malabuk and Mustache not happy with Kanata and Cooper taking their pickings here. This is almost a throwback to the Invitational, and Kanata had beef at the racetrack up against Malabuka and Mustache.
Malabuka, Thomas HD at the time, but things have shifted because Kanata and Cooper finding that singular elimination now puts them in a power position here at Restored Reels. They have a very real opportunity as well to try and see if they can look for not just the solo, but also taking advantage of the other half section, because keep in mind, Restored Real's usually getting split between only 2 duos, but since Alex and Worthy got cut off so soon, that's going to be even better opportunity still, because Kanata and Cooper know that that POI has not been fully looted.
Well, matches 9 and 10 have been very interesting, since we can see that the zone is going to remain down south once again, and Peterbot and Pollo saw Clix and Vino get eliminated, and they wasted no time to rush in and secure these eliminations up against Resigns and Damo. Damo seems to have escaped outside of the Sandy Steps, but it makes sense, right? They would come in and just finish the job.
But Peterbot and Pollo also knew that if Clix and Veno aren't there, they have zero fear of Oshi, and they've been very open about that. Chap and Teeny, on the other hand, they've also joined the fray here at Restored Rios. Malabuka, Merstash, they've got 1 elimination as well. Teeny and Chap find themselves boxed in the center. They're trying to see if they can escape, but they're both gonna pressure onto Malabuka's walls. Malabuka hasn't had his shield fully cracked just yet, but he's definitely low enough. Same could be said though for Chap and Teeny. Armored wall gonna cut off that aggressive path from Merstash, and they'll have a moment to regenerate their shields.
Chap and Teeny have fallen down to 12th here, but still are very much in the running here. Let's not forget 1.5x points to be earned, so every game having that much more significance on the standing. Look at Teeny slide up behind Malabuka and find an elimination right there. Very nicely done. And in quick fashion there, picks up the loot. He desperately needed that. He's only got 200 material even now. Tap on the other side though, getting tagged off in the distance. Teeny looking to finish off Giris and Shari, who seems to have rotated north from the south after seeing Clix and Vino go down. They're like, oh, okay, there's no one in third party. Let's go the opposite way. Everyone's adjusting.
And I think that adjustment was so unexpected for Malabuka and Merstash. Malabuka was trying to stay hidden because he recognized the fact that there was Giris and Shari on the other side. But again, Teeny, Chap, wasting absolutely no time. Just caught in the center of the action.
I just want to say how interesting that Peterbot and Pollo see Clix and Vino fall and they push in. Giris and Shari see it and like, let's get out. Very different philosophy, very different strategies at play there, but nonetheless, we progress here onto Bryson Bolts now, who have a little bit of this high ground spot here. Bryson Bolts continue to kind of remain inside this top 10 conversation. However, still shy of a Victor Royale to really propel them up towards the top.
For sure, but for Baka and Pars, this is a site that they haven't had a chance to really take too much advantage of in a while. Their drop by the ship it station usually leaves them in contention to be able to look at a forecast tower or two, but because of the action that's been taking place between Vico, Flixie, Peterbot, Pollo, all these other duos trying to establish their dominance over these forecast towers, it's been difficult for Pars and Baka to work their way into that conversation. But again, this is also partially Domino's effect because Peterbot and Pollo rotated so early on to push Damo and Resigns off of the Clix Veno eliminations that now it's left an opening for Baka and Pars to set up home base around the forecast tower that would typically be contested by Peterbot and Pollo.
Rise and Agers looking to see it. They can get a couple tags on a team rotating nearby. Well, inside the top 10 here. We can start shifting our conversations a bit towards the pricing as well. Let's not forget how significant it will be as you start breaking into top 10. The difference is in what you earn up towards top 5. That's what players are going to start having to worry about as well, given the performances. Even if first place is not in the question, you want to be up as high as possible.
And that's also an interesting dynamic to consider because some of these teams that are outside of that top 25 in the leaderboard, this might just be a prime opportunity for them to be as reckless as they want because realistically, 6 points per elimination, if they're able to stack 3, 4, possibly even 5, it's never going to be easy, especially not at the caliber of a global stage lobby. But when you know that everybody gets money and when you see such distinct gaps between the prize pooling just for 1 or 2 point placements higher, it's definitely worth trying to key after.
Yeah, Vico and Flixie thinking about keying Shadow and Virgo on that note.
Shadow and Virgo very much aware that this bunker's going to open here. Now looking to back off. Seems like they've sort of met their match. We had time to catch up with Vico's parent, and they said they expect Vico to get much more eliminations today. That is what is the hopes. And look, he has done just that. He is in 3rd place right now. Vico and Flixie absolutely have proven to the world that they are a scary team and someone to be respected.
Just seeing the way that Vico's mom is so invested, though. I mean, granted, I would imagine that any parent would be, but it's just the emotional display. I can only imagine what it's like, because even for us watching, the anxiety is bound to hit. Nerves definitely starting to build here, but the shots have to stay clean as ever for all of these players involved, because you might not have as many opportunities as you would hope for, and Sphinx managing to connect some very optimal shots with that striker burst assault rifle. He's definitely under a little bit of duress himself on the top of his surge base.
Haven't seen much of the early game from Dukes or Sphinx, but they are creeping their way up the standings. Just a silent team at the moment. On the other side, Booga and Aviv looking to make some noise here at the Reckless Railways. I was just gonna say, but you gotta be careful, because here comes Flixie and Vico coming back to home territory. First tag's gonna come out onto Aviv by Flixie from the low ground. A great peek, and Aviv's gonna respect the damage coming in from Vico now and back off.
But both of these teams need to be wary of the fact that they don't want to get caught outside of the zone for a little bit too long. Teams inside of the zone already managing to build up more primary positioning, and when you're trying to break through some of these surge bases that are in more of that central map position, it can be very difficult to work around and still retain as many resources. All of these splashes, a little bit of Flowberry Fizz that Vico has left over. It seems right now he can definitely buy himself more time than what Booga and Aviv had to offer, but because of that factor, Booga, Aviv, they're not really interested in the fight.
One thing to note too, the bunker, not really talked about how much ammunition it serves out to the players that secure it. You saw there, Vico and Flixie had 300 ammunition apiece, where you start jumping into other teams who are quite literally dwindling down on resources so soon, they'll start to run out.
It's a big part of the reason why Kovacs seemingly wants to see if he can find another refresh if possible, but again, teams next to the Nitrodrome fully aware of the fact that these last little bits of metal are probably gonna have to be the hard mats that carry them through the rest of this mid game. Some nice connections though. Rapid, that is a big knock.
A huge knock there. And look at this, we jump back in and Flixie's actually
the rest of this mid game. Some nice connections though. Rapid, that is a big knock.
A huge knock there. And look at this, we jump back in and Flixie's actually down. What went wrong? And now it's up to Vico to try to play this one out. We saw Flixie lurking, trying to get a weird angle onto Aviv and Booga, and they might have actually caught him off guard.
Aviv and Booga may have even falsely alluded to Vico and Flixie as if they were, trying to just escape, but in actuality, they were really just setting the trap all along. Flixie was playing rather separate in the first place, and yeah, here, you can already tell, shields cracked, low and exposed, and too easy for the big cheese to take care of.
Aviv and Booga on the move now. No one in sight here as they get a nice clean rotate down the river's edge here. This is match number 10. The back half of the tournament is very much underway here. Aviv and Booga have a long way to go if they want to break into that top 10, but they are knocking on the door now, as several eliminations in a good placed game here will put them inside the conversation. And this is after having such a struggle day one, right? Completely almost unheard of for Booga and Aviv, but this day two performance is one to be impressed with. Meanwhile, Huddy and Kovacs from one bad game the previous round, seems like they're carrying that bad vibe into this one here as well. It's not looking good.
From the frying pan straight into the fire is what it feels like currently for Huddy, but he's hoping he can continue to try and make his escape. Chap, though, intent on looking for the confirmation of this next elimination. He wants the points, but more importantly still, he wants the siphon of those materials. All the little goodies that Huddy might still have to offer with his loadout as well. Keep in mind the splashes and the ammunition can go a long way for some of these teams that don't have those weapon bunkers like you already called.
Vico has now brought back Flixie with the reboot van. The most important part about losing your teammate, I think, is the time lost, right? And the resources handed over to the opponent to, of course, secure it. Sure, you'll have time to kind of get back into the swing of things, but you are very behind on time now, which obviously is so valuable, and you do not get back.
Well, I think what's even crazier still is the fact that they were still a couple hundred damage above the threshold. Despite this setback, they are still in an okay position to try and crawl their way out of the hole that Aviv and Bugha essentially placed them into. But top of Rift Island definitely starting to heat up here. Muzz, Epic Whale, after some very essential material. They have 0 metal though, and that could be a massive detriment as the mid to late game transition begins to unfold, because they're gonna have to play exclusively off of brick walls if they enter any engagements at the top of Rift Island here.
Still very, very difficult spot to be in for Huddy here. They have the damage, not much more than that. That's really the truth of it. Look at how many teams have also began to kind of house up here on the Rift Island. You have the likes of Muzz and Epic Whale, amongst others. Huddy here just trying to figure out what he can scrap together. Material is extremely low here. Even now, he's playing with fire here as he's trying to inch his way into the structure above, getting ever so closer to visuals and company. But on the other side, Peterbot and Pollo making a move here from the outside of the zone now, and they are not looking too hot down at the red line rig.
This could actually be a big spot of trouble here if Peterbot and Pollo aren't careful. They had teams on both sides of them as they continue to try and work their way into Brawler's Battleground. Just look at the amount of materials they've had to expend already, and they're still sitting just outside the edge of zone. All the while, Vico, Flixie, they have cracked into the edge, but now they got to try and break past Reason in the deal.
This is a fight they've seen before. No strangers to one another on the European region. However, there's still Michael and Job also firing in on this fight, so it's not just a clean 2v2. Vico and Flixie, though, have a lot to worry about. They need damage, but more importantly, they need this refresh. Job steps in and just gets crushed for a moment there, but Flixie damaged as well. Vico doubles down on the armored walls and actually finds the elimination. Meanwhile, Pollo and Peterbot are fighting their way in as well. And this time it's up against Cold and Acorn.
Cold and Acorn have been struggling today as far as their surge has been concerned, and big part of the reason why they don't have that direct contest that they were able to depend on in day number 1 up against the likes of Andalex and Sato. So taking this exchange with Peterbot and Pollo, it's only gonna hinder both teams at this stage, because Baka and Pars, they're starting to put their heads into the mix, and Resigns, a lone soldier, he's not going to be able to make it out.
Huge pickup for Epic Whale, though. He's actually going to be the one to get the last tag from the Rift Island down onto Resigns there. Meanwhile, you would have thought it was Damo who was close nearby, but no, it's Agers in the storm, looking like a solo as well. What is happening here? This is going to give a sense of security to Pollo and Peterbot when the skin comes out and they see Agers potentially there in the distance.
Yeah, they're also going to recognize the fact that he's a...
They're going to think he's a solo, but he's not.
Agers is just far enough away from Rise, though, that Pollo and Peterbot, you saw the confidence in that movement. They were full sprinting. They're not trying to hide anything about their intention. And Agers instantly recognizing the danger in sight. It's gonna fall back immediately, and now Pollo, Peterbot, they see his duo in the distance, and they're gonna opt to fall back. Agers and Rise will live to see another day.
Definitely a close one. Pollo and Peterbot are moving so fast as well, and you know, for good measure, they need more damage. They are not quite there just yet. Kiros and Shari gonna be the next ones up for Pickens here. but nothing is going to connect. Getting close now to the top 25. Take a look at the highlights. You blinked, you missed it. Baka and Pars get deleted by the young Cold. Very nicely done. He's starting to heat up, it seems now. In the back half, that short break probably much needed.
That last elimination, though, that Flixie and Vico picked up off screen is carrying their surge damage threshold currently, sitting just barely above at 113 over. But Vico, Flixie, more importantly still, they need to find another loot refresh if possible. They're going to have to create the situation themselves. Meanwhile, Peterbot Pollo, this could be exactly everything they were looking for. Ed and Persa have fallen, and a big refresh of materials is finally headed their way.
That was actually so fast too, right? One of the fastest eliminations they picked up, but look, no heals were given out. You would think you catch two teams or a set of duos here on the outside, catch the quick elimination, and you'd be fully refreshed, but they are still in a very bad situation as far as heals are concerned.
Yeah, but it's all from rags to riches when you're looking at Thomas HD and Queasy's loadouts in comparison to Pollo and Peterbot. They are in tatters at this phase. And now, taking the flaming boost tube, they're gonna try to catapult themselves. It's helping them cover some distance, but at the same time, they're just still so far behind everyone else, very likely to get held the moment that they surface.
They go sneaking their way out from the edge here. All eyes on Peterbot and Pollo right now, as this is, again, one of those very dangerous situations they found themselves in where Pollo doesn't have much HP. Peterbot holding on with just a single strong foot. Let's see it though. They find a little weak ramp here, try to double out onto Jonas and Pixis. But nothing comes out. Pixie manages to level up just a little bit more there. And the hunt continues.
Peterbot and Pollo, though, they're going to send out their next scan off that reveal medallion. It's Siyun and Kadu. But Siyun and Kadu, they might even be caught in a different exchange of their own. Believe that they're applying some pressure onto Epicwell and Muzz, who are sitting on the low ground just underneath them. Chiefs as well, so incredibly hurt, but Peterbot, Pollo, they are just praying for any sort of refresh, but nobody is coming near them. Keep in mind that reveal medallion also marking their position on the map. People know Peterbot and Pollo are on the approach.
Yeah, Kato is trying his best to see if he can swing around this dead side for the rotate, but Peterbot and Pollo not having anything to do with it. In fact, finding more tags now into Kato. They're gonna recognize we just shield cracked here, push in, take the wall. They didn't have heavy material before, so what did they have to work with? Armored wall comes out, give them a little bit of room, but different duos now looking to collapse in. Luckily, the tag was onto Peterbot and not his teammate. Otherwise, it will be Rats here. Great Monarch tags, but they are literally operating on fumes right now.
Peterbot is down to his final 4 builds.
Wow.
Make that 3. He's still got 6 armored walls, though, but he'll have to be so meticulous with how he actually places them. But
Needed
just
that.
in time, Crisp has been found.
It's not much. It's not much, but it's something, and down they go in 17th place. They just couldn't get a footing. Look at who it is, Vico, on the other side here. Falls and takes the damage too. Out goes some of the immediate threat. And things begin to open up for Cammy and Seti. Once again on the high ground, Queasy and Thomas, also who are just on a day 2 performance of their careers right now.
The opportunity has arisen, though. Thomas HD and Queasy know if they can just close this one out in any sort of fashion, like some of the successful matches they've had earlier here today, that could be all the difference necessary. Only 54 points currently separates first and second place. Spinks from the low ground, trying to take some chops up onto height. Success as well. Seti and Cammy will be forced to try and pave their way forward. Still looking to maintain a front side position of this next zone, but Duke, Spinks right behind him, threatening. They're gonna have to push forward as well, though. It's only a matter of time before the two have to clash.
Spinks and Dukes have turned their focus to high ground here. They want to be up on that podium before the weekend's over, and there's just 3 games to do it. Here we are in the final moments, top 15 now. Things are starting to heat up here for Thomas HD and Queasy. Material running low. They have to find the refresh here. Desperation will start to kick in. They saw the shield crack. Sidewall goes in. They're fully committed. Armored walls. It's all or nothing. And Thomas HD gets trapped and put down. Back to the lobby he goes, but we've seen Queasy be here before. He will have to figure out how to clutch up for the team now.
At least for a moment, he's gonna opt to play his final med kit. It'll buy him a little bit of time. He's hoping that it'll buy him even a placement or two, but now pushing in late from the backside of zone, hoping that he can drop in overhead, sees bodies, hears the shots connecting all around. Prism is gonna get knocked. That's the refresh he needed, but the splashes, Queasy can't use them in time. He gets the elimination, but at what cost?
And it wasn't enough to overthrow the gap between him and Peterbot and Boyo. The small chance that he had, the crack in the window that was open, he could not fit through. And it remains as close as ever as we are bending into game 11 and 12 of the tournament. This is Bryce's and Bolt's chance to secure a victory. This is Sphinx and Duke's chance to secure a victory. Or can Cammy and Seti pull a trick out of the hat at this point and come back with another win today?
Seti is already out. Cammy may have been right next to him. Swizzy and Yapko, on the other hand, they're looking to be the ones to try and overtake the low ground. They've created so much space, but working through these pre-existing builds and even the buildings themselves here at Brawler's Battleground is posing so much of an issue because Bryce Bolt's in the mid-ground. Pixie as a solo, he's gonna opt for the medkit play as well. Teams falling left and right, and the solos left behind, just hoping that the duos clash into each other.
Japko and Swizzy, very solid team, doing what they need to. Beautiful tag out to Gyros, puts them down quickly. Teammate falls behind it, and then Japko delivered Pixie right afterwards, and they jump their way up to 8 eliminations in the top 3 now. Bolts is weak, but Bryce is healthy. Sphinx and Duke's waiting their timeout from the high ground, listening to what's happening down low. The medallion's in full effect, so they have all the information needed, and they're cutting them off. What an angle from Bryce here to find one, now 2 on the low ground. Down comes Sphinx and Dukes. The call has been made. They're looking to close this game out, and they're a very weakened duo down here.
Duke's feeling good about this one, though. He knows that these players have got to be low. Final 3 builds remain. Sphinx right up above to back him up, but it's only gonna take one last shot. Dukes waiting to see which hole Bolts tries to scramble out from under. Armored walls to surround himself for the time being.
That's so smart. He's got something to heal with. He actually is trying to survive it, but Sphinx was also ready on the high ground, and he has an extra med kit. It's gonna be so close here as Sphinx has run out of heals, and Bolts has one in 3, 2, 1. It is over, and Bolts wins the game via armored walls and med kits. I knew they would win one this weekend.
They were hunting for it for so long. It was only a matter of time before they were finally able to seek this one out. A big victory royale to surge their way up the leaderboards. Heartbreaking moment for Sphinx and Dukes, but they did their best.
Would you please put your hands together for Bryce and Bars? It is good to talk to you guys. Walk us through the end game there. We saw the heals came into play, but what a way. The crowd absolutely loving that too.
We finally got a south pole for the first time. It went to the sand. We also got surge guns this game, so we decided to stay our spot, get surge. After that, we made it to end game pretty easily. Once we were there, it was just refreshes, you know, it was just clockwork.
So the heals came
I don't
into
know,
play,
Bryce is one of the best IGLs in the game. I'm one of the best fraggers, and put that together, we're one of the best players ever.
I mean, Bryce, you know, we hear it from their Bolts. It was an incredible way to round things up here. Obviously, you guys want to get as Lots more coming our way here. Bryson Bolt's there securing the victory, but we've got 2 more games left to play here. What's going to happen next? You have a front row seat. Do not go anywhere. This crowd already, we know you guys are too. We'll see for plenty more right after this break.
Hello and welcome back to the FNCS Global Championship. We just wrapped up game number 10. Only 2 remain before global champions are crowned. To say this last game was chaotic, I feel is almost like an understatement.
Yeah, that was chaos in its finest form right there. Our 2 biggest teams going down relatively early, although still getting those placement points, probably still holding themselves up in the top of the leaderboard. But big shout outs to Dukes and Sphinx. We've seen some great performances from them, but Bryce and Bolt with the win there. I mean, we saw it from Global Championships 2023. Bryce getting that 6th place with Chubbs. Now, bringing it back again to show how well he can perform on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, they said it right there. They have the perfect partnership. They have the best IGL, the best fragger in their opinion, and they think they are the best duo, which is, of course, what we got to see in this game right here. They're a little bit lower down on the leaderboards, too, so this is what the second day can do. That 1.5x points can really boost them up in the standings, which I'm sure we'll take a look at very soon. But it's this moment right here where Bryce goes down. Bolts, of course, had to pop that med kit, and Dukes just couldn't get inside of that box because he placed all of those armored walls. What a great strategy, and ultimately, it was because he had more med kits at his his disposal.
Such a smart play, and it's also a bit of a risky play, right? Because you don't know what is in Dukes' loadout there. You don't know if he has the medkits. You just have to make that call. And a lot of the times we see these low ground teams, when it does come down to a heal off, kind of scour the low ground there, trying to find the medkits. But he says, no, I have to believe this is my chance. I'm not giving the high ground team a chance to drop down and eliminate me. I'm going for the heal off.
Yeah, you just have to commit, right? That's a great point, because like obviously we as viewers, we have all of the information, right? We can kind of see everyone's healths and everything, but the players can't, right? They're just going, they're down below me, commit, health, the med kit. We don't have another choice. This is the only health I have, right? So very interesting to see. Let's take a look at our leaderboard with only 2 games left. How are things going? Peterbot, Pollo still holding on, especially after that last game. What I found very interesting about Peterbot and Pollo in that game, they started the game with bunker, right? But yet most of the game, they were just shambles.
Yeah, we saw how deep into the storm that they had to go for that bunker. And when that happens and you have to do a big rotate, they're landing over the raft, and it was a southeastern zone. And then by staying in the storm to get that bunker, you just have so much potential to sacrifice, especially when people are paying attention to all those outside teams going for those tags. You just have to use mats, and you're going to have to use your heals a little early in that situation.
Yeah, the casters mentioned it as well. They made a more quick south rotation, of course, within that very first zone to take out the OCE team down there that took out Venno and Clicks, and I think they didn't get the forecast tower there either, so they were always back in the storm. They didn't know where that next zone was going to be, so they couldn't plan ahead. And we've kind of seen that a lot throughout the day and the whole weekend, I guess, with Peterbot and Pollo. They haven't necessarily looked like the most healthy team, the most stacked team at all circumstances and all situations, but they have the fragging power, they have the ability to pull themselves out of that situation, and that's what makes this team so great.
Absolutely. We saw there in a moment, Thomas HD jumps into a box, making the maddest play I think I've ever seen. What's interesting about this duo, right? Earlier on in the game, around 4th zone, they're sitting 700 above.
Yeah.
And then we go into like 7th zone, they're 400 above. And then kind of running out of steam as far as like mass concerned.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, just 3 builds available to them, unfortunately jumping into that box. It was possible that Thomas HD thought that it could have been a solo, but Queasy, once again, just with that solo clutch, even though he wasn't able to get too much besides the elimination and an 11th place finish, that still adds up, Mini.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it was a similar situation to earlier on where he actually left the body in the storm. He couldn't get the heals and the materials and stuff that was on that body earlier. He went for it this game. He tried it. He saw those chug smashes, which of course can heal your whites, and he tried to go for it. Wasn't quite enough there at the end, but again, a nice game. Of course, Peterbot and Pollo there got 17th place. I think it was an 11th place for these guys right here. So they're getting the upper hand on them. They're getting the edge on them. It's just not quite enough to take over that first place spot at the moment.
This is going to be a fight until the very end. 2 games left to go, and then a champion will be crowned. Fortnite fam, let's get ready to jump into game 11 on the day. Casters, over to you.
Here it is. There's only 2 more chances now. Match 11 being one of them coming right up.
It almost feels so surreal at this point, MDF, that we are right on the cusp of crowning our next global champions.
Yeah, and it is really close at the top. I can't believe Queasy and Thomas couldn't take the small opportunity available, but let's see it. More chances will everyone get here in match number 11 to take their shot at the throne? Because at this point, Peterbot and Pollo have served up too many opportunities. They can't surely come up short, right?
You would think so, but at the same time, NDF, with a 1.5 times point multiplier, anything is possible. And speaking of crazy possibilities here, Brutal Beachhead, Gal Gamer, Haman, they're actually going to fly right overhead. They've recognized they have been completely outdropped. Their intentions are elsewhere. Sato and Andalex, though, on the north side of the warship here at Brutal Beachhead. Could be a moment for Acorn and Cole to potentially manifest their own destiny here on the day, because they have certainly encountered a fair share of struggles. And the contest also continues at the Rebels Roost for Kovacs, Putty, Sky, and Scroll.
Looking for an opportunity, looking for an angle right now. Huddy's gonna get a huge pickup from the drop right there. So that's the round out the loadout here. Shotgun, AR ready to go. Burst being a great option so early right now. Monarch pistol for Kovacs, so not exactly the best. However, this is a hot drop, so you can see there are plenty of drones flying around that'll drop good loot as well. But Scrolling Sky this time not content with what they've received. Back off. We've seen them do this before. Meanwhile, on the other side, a Power-Worthy and Alex kicking things off, continuing their domination over Restored Reels. They really have impressed us, I would say, with what they're capable of in the early game. They really have continuing their back off. We've seen them do this before. Meanwhile, on the other side, a Power-Worthy and Alex kicking things off, continuing their domination over Restored Reels. They really have impressed us, I would say, with what they're capable of in the early game. If they can just patch up that mid-game, I mean, they would make OCE very proud.
Well, they've managed to smooth out the difficulties that they had in day one as far as that 50-50 drop is concerned and Restored Reels. The problem now today has just been Kanata and Cooper, amongst other teams, just closing in on that location after they see the exchange take place. But Acorn is currently situated here at Brutal Beachhead without Cold, and considering the Andalex as an elimination of his zone, you have to expect that that was the one he found on the Cold.
Yeah, it's sad to see, but it's about the worst we've seen Acorn and Cold do in person right now, and there's a lot of factors starting to add up. Normally, they play very, very well, you know, being contested. However, there were some rumors Cold wasn't feeling 100% today, so that could be taking its effect here now, especially as we drag on later into the evening, as they've kind of slipped down. But shift our focus into the stars of the evening, if you will. Boyo and Pewterbot right now really starting to take form here. Last game makes you wonder what all went wrong in the mid-game, given that they were just in shambles somehow. No extra material. And then on the other side, Queasy and Thomas had a opposite situation. And then on the other side, Queasy and Thomas had a opposite situation, but this time it's an elimination.
They pushed in rather quick to capitalize on
this time. On the other side, Queasy and Thomas had a opposite situation, but this time it's an elimination.
They pushed in rather quick to capitalize on Kramsu and Clone, who do land a little bit north of where Research Rock is at, and sure enough, Queasy just beaming Kramsu. Could have potentially just been a circumstance where Kramsu didn't even have time to react. He just got dropped in 2 shots pretty much, so well played to Queasy, Thomas HD for that one. Something we were just talking about in between the placement.
Mixing up the strategies doesn't seem to be working going north at all right now. They were better off sitting in the storm trying to catch tags on the Clix and Vino. Jumping in with Chicho now in Trulex. Just outside the Doomstat. Big base here. Ramped out almost to see what they can find. Things are going to slow down here for a moment, but on the other side, things starting to heat up now for Chat and Teeny. Another elimination to finish the duo off.
They knew that Shari was a solo, though, after collecting Gira, so it makes sense that they would take the time to pinpoint his location. The surge damage, just such a massive necessity to collect early on, so that way they can have better control over their rotations as the match progresses. Because we are down to our final 2 lobbies here today, MDF. Walks Ping getting active now against the likes of Rise and Yuma, and they're gonna win out. 2 big eliminations to add to the tab as Poyo and Pewterbot yet again also finding themselves fully in control of the forecast tower.
They've doubled back, they've secured it again, and this means that they will have all the information for all of the zones coming up. It's such an advantage. And it's not just them, right? There are other teams, of course, securing other forecast towers. However, they have just been the team that be able to do the most with that information.
But now you've got a team with the best medallion, the best striker burst assault rifle, the best kind of opportunities to set themselves into optimal positioning thanks to the forecast. Shutting that down might not even be the focus. More so, it's just got to be other teams emphasizing even more still into their own gameplay to ensure that they can keep up at this point.
Miko and Flixie trying to keep up. I love that they go around, tag other teams, and then double back to the railways, always looking for someone who makes the mistake of getting to their drop spot, looking for scraps. Seems to be what works. On the other side, though, CZB Nathan, EU team going up against Bryson Bolts right now. Bryson Bolts are actually just waiting right now, probably not too sure about what they want to do. I'm sure they want to get back to farming as they don't have much to work with here, and CZB and Nathan seem to catch a read here. They don't want to take this fight.
Yeah, Season B and Nathan, they're in a far better position as well, just having that little bit of elevation to work with. So Bryce Bolts, they're likely going to head the opposite direction, but something I couldn't help but notice, last time we checked in with Trulex and Chicho, that surge base that they had established, the way that they were taking shots into Doomstad, wondering how much interference they've been playing today up against the likes of Muzz and Epic Whale, Reet and Ritual. Keep in mind, those two teams are trying to head, they're already softly contesting each other. They've been splitting Doomstad between the north and south sides, but when you've got Trulex and Chicho, such strong mechanical players, you know they have such crazy pinpoint accuracy, and they're holding you with the surge base from so far. It can be very difficult to actually work your way out of that location.
Especially if it forces you into another team that you're not expecting, which of course will be disastrous. Chicho and Trulex doing just that as well, talking about manipulating these rotates. They're trying to do that here. No tags right now into Rapid and Batman Booga. However, Trulex has got a completely different angle here on the outskirts. But the call's being made. Time to get a move on it here. They'll be one of the first to rotate now.
Plenty of rocks, though, to easily refarm some of the brick that they had invested for that first surge base. And just behind them, you can see Muzz, Epic Whale. They've had to maintain a low profile to prevent themselves from being victims of Trulex and Chicho's Eagle Eyes inside of that surge base. But the surge bases continue to pose issues for plenty of other teams around the lobby. Here we've got Poyo and Peterbot actually looking to see if they can capitalize onto Sky and Scroll. One above, one below. Sky Scroll caught in the center. But they're gonna try to just finagle their way out of this one, sure enough. Poyo, though, just quick to the chase.
Haven't quite got the tags, though, right? So something isn't going right for this battle here. Clearly, the goal is damage and or eliminations, but none being earned. Meanwhile, Ping and Wox right here are in a completely different fight. Deep into the storm, just outside the underworld. Wox, who's at 3 eliminations here, clearly fired up for match 11 right now. Chasing down visuals and Braids. Finds the wall. Ping on the other side, gets the edit. However, Braid slips out.
This is looking rather dire, though, for Braids. For Wox and Ping, they've already invested so much time. They need this surge damage at this point, which is why Wox, he's so intent, so determined to make sure that he cleans up the other half of this duo. Not to mention the 3 eliminations as well. Wox and Ping playing super aggressive. Some of these final lobbies. A knock, though, is going to be a big setback here for Wox and Ping. They have some white heals to work with, but keep in mind, we just saw Trulex and Chicho's positioning. All the other teams as well that are based a little bit more towards that northeast side of the map are going to have ample opportunity to just gatekeep these teams that are still inside the storm, rotating so late.
Think about what they're fighting for. These are all of our top 10 teams we're jumping in and giving you guys updates with. You are seeing just why they are sitting well within the top 10. Taking fights, dropping teams, making big moments every single chance that they get, and now Dukes and Sphinx are looking to do just that as well here, as they're sitting heavily in 5th here. But Cramsu Clone looking for the double pincer here. Both sides are cut off, but Dukes and Sphinx double back one another. Good defensive wall thrown down there. The tags are even better, but Dukes, as mechanical as he is, can't take too many of those tags there. Will he be set back? Cramsu really pushing the agenda here, as is Clone.
Keep in mind, Clone and Kramzu, they're trying to make up for lost time. Queasy getting that initial elimination posed such a big setback because they had to make a play for the reboot ban. So now you know that they need some surge damage to efficiently move throughout the rest of this mid game. And Dukes and Sphinx, they wouldn't mind the refresh materials at this point. They're using up a lot of their splashes just to try and get the job done. Not sure which duo actually decided to start the engagement, but at this point, somebody needs to find closure before the third party trickles in.
Yeah, Dukes and Sphinx gonna get another tag here onto Kramzu, but not much. Clone is also hurt, but so is Sphinx. Sphinx seems to be the one taking the most damage in this battle. All of these chug splashes coming out to make sure they keep him up. Given the circumstances, the Flowberry Fizz to reset the full HP now. And they're gonna commit back into it. They're too deep into the water now to give this one up. They're gonna have to swim their way out. They need the mats, they need the material, they need everything that they can pick up off of Dukes and Sphinx here. And Sphinx and Dukes need to stay alive because they're inside the top 5, so much more riding on the line for them right now.
But again, the fact that they've even been held up for this long with Kramzu and Clone is such a huge detriment. There are multiple teams now beginning to filter in around them, and the way that the zone has started to pull over the likes of Reckless Railways, keep in mind that's also Vico and Flixie's backyard, and they've got that forecast knowledge from this match.
Dukes is trapped though, 2 tags come in, and he is forced back to the low ground. This is not going the way they expected at all here. Sphinx also punished now. The Hispanic duo sees blood in the water here as they've caught the white tags. They are hunting as aggressive as ever. Down goes Sphinx first. Dukes falls as well, and 5th place is out now. And this is gonna give everyone else the chance now to secure that 5th plus. Resign to Demo, they'll move in here. It's not over for Clone and Kramzu. In fact, it's done for them now as Resigns is gonna find the first elim, and Demo gets the 2nd. And just like that, they timed their entry perfectly for OCE.
And at this stage, again, Clone and Kramzu, sure they got the points from the set of eliminations onto Dukes and Sphinx, but fact of the matter is, they weren't in a position to be able to deal with the third party after the fact that Kramzu left as a solo. And this time, he might not have the opportunity to actually make a reboot ban play like his partner just did for him earlier on. All the while, Chicho and Trulex, they have found their new height of surge-based territory. And they've got a massive overview of where the entirety of the lobby is. This brick box on top of the mountain face as well. Very easy to spot for other teams, which means the flow of traffic for players moving into this next zone likely going to be restricted by Chicho and Trulex.
Yeah, this is as big as bases get here, especially given that it's off the mountain, so they just have so much visibility on the edge of the map. Rift Island, once again, housed by Pirba and Pollo. Probably the 8th time out of these 11 matches. They will show up consistently here. Playing into the storm right now. I wonder what's the game plan here. They continue to rack up tags. Does seem like they will need a fight here soon.
Peterbot's got all the chug splashes for this duo. Go ahead and make sure to expend a handful of them, but Pollo, Peterbot, no. It's just gonna be Flowberry Fizz into the launch pad and go, but they can see all the teams that are rifting around them, teams that might even be looking to take that launch pad later on, but most importantly of all, they're heading straight for surge-based territory.
Look at who they're gonna land on. They're following Huddy and Kovacs right now. They find a fresh wall from Scrubble and Sky. That would even be a better option given that this is a weakened team. Little do they know, but Pollo gets the first tag onto him, and unfortunately that sets him back. Goes for a trade of tags onto Swizzy, and Peterbot showing us exactly what he is known for, and that is that deadly aim right there to keep them in the game. But just on the line of surge right now, floating above it. They're not completely safe just yet.
Can't lose focus though. Swizzy and Yapko are not gonna go out without a fight. Sure, Peterbot might have that mythic striker burst, but Yapko returning fire, letting them know it's not gonna be easy. 58 below the damage threshold though for Kovacs and Huddy. They are just getting so held by everyone surrounding them, barely managing to find a shot in the nick of time. More importantly still, it seems other players falling in the lobby instead will be their bailout moment. They are fortunately gonna be able to take a quick moment to pause, heal up, and then determine where they head next. Harping out, not necessarily an option. They're gonna have to fight because they need more material.
Nice little pickup here for Peterbot. Still has 2 splashes to work with right now. These eliminations being a massive, massive recovery opportunity for them. Let's take a look at it. It was Worthy who was flying in here. He didn't stand a chance. Unfortunately, fell short of the storm line there. Queasy, Thomas HD, hot on the heels of Flixie and Vico now. That would be an incredible team to drop, given that they are in 3rd place.
They could just play for Deadside at this point. They have so much damage above the rest of the lobby. They're gonna be a little bit late, but Thomas HD, do you ever miss with the Monarch pistol, man?
We have seen him do so much damage with that weapon. It wouldn't doubt me if the stats say that he is far and above the rest with the Monarch here on the weekend. Take a look at that in just a moment, but Kovacs, Huddy now, very much below the surge here, forced into a box-to-box engagement here. This is as scrappy as it's gonna get, and they need an elimination here now. Clock is ticking, starting to run short on time. It's going to be a matter of moments before this storm really starts to ramp up onto them. Let's see it.
The damage threshold is only going to continue to climb even higher. Huddy, Kovacs forced to jump into Sky and Scroll's box, but it's not going to do them any good. They find the knock onto Scroll, but that's just going to be the setup for Wox and Ping. They take Scroll's body, instantly throw it back into their turf. Sky now left to fend for himself as a solo. Plenty of damage above the threshold, but in a sea of duos, what options does he really have?
And they're just sitting on that refresh right there. Now they're all the way back into the thing. This is kind of crazy for Wox and Ping. They've come out like reasonably out of nowhere, literally now in 4 eliminations. And they're just in this conversation for a top 5 run this game. Just 20 points behind now, Bryce and Bolts, given how many eliminations they're starting to pick up here. For Bolts and Bryce though, they're finally finding theirs too, so that's a set starting to add up here.
Look at how isolated Queasy and Thomas HD were, though, on that far west side of the zone. A little bit of a dead side position, but they are going to have to deal with Paper and Victor V, I believe, who seem to be joined up with them. Not going to be an easy path to trek by any means, but right there with you, Bryce and Bolts have really started to heat up here. And this is where it matters most, because you only have this lobby and the next to work with, and then that's it. And there is a lot of prize money on the line when you look at these positions in the top 5 of the leaderboard.
Oh, the gap is a big, big jump. The first Bolts and Bryce have to make it there, if you will. They're in the top 5, but pushing through is going to be difficult now, given that they're running low on HP, even shorter on damage here. The fact that Bulls has to rely on bandages here, but a great, great shot there. Not enough to find the elimination, unfortunately. Loses his teammate in the process, however. He is above the threshold for now. It'll buy him a little bit of time. Glowberry Fizz to give him that extra mobility here so he moves fast. Also to get an inch further. It's Reason who's down at the bottom layer. What can Bolts do now? Can he maintain his position here?
Reason had also been desperate for some elimination damage, but Bolts will get the last lap. Granted, I don't know how long it'll last, considering the fact that his current position is as grim as ever, especially seeing all these teams in front of him. Chiefs just skirting by. Beno and clicks his box. Bolt's hoping to keep ramping up overhead, just trying to maintain an isolated position, but 25 above the damage threshold, and he will finally be taken out.
While all that is happening, there is more action unfolding here for the likes of Thomas HD and Queasy, who are now looking to set themselves up with some high ground positioning once again here. How many wins do we think they can take before the weekend's over at this point? Match 11 starting to heat up, though. Not looking good for Clicks and Vino, who are also going to fall inside the top 20. Peterbot and Boyo continuing to rack up the eliminations here.
They couldn't have found those elims at a better time. Granted, it will be difficult for them to actually make their way towards the body loot, but Peterbot Boyo, they might just choose to take what's right in front of them. Rise immediately falls to Peterbot's accuracy, but it comes at a cost. Peterbot's lost Boyo. The lobby has closed in. Peterbot from the low ground, forced to throw out the armored wall, but everybody's got their eyes on the prize. It seems as though they've all pinpointed the fact that this is a solo operation.
And look, he's still trying to possibly save his teammate. Remember, Boyo has a lot of kills as well in the extra material, but no, he has to give it up. He has to leave him behind. And we have seen Peterbot be here before. I mean, he just won a game where he clutched it up. So top 14 now. It's not over just yet. Queasy still alive. Thomas HD on the front side of zone. Peterbot is just cooking, though. Taking down Teeny now. Every single time he drops a team and finds more eliminations, he is gapping himself away from second and third place.
And think about the mental game. It's starting to unfold for Queasy and Thomas. They're watching this elimination feed light up. Peterbot, regardless if he's got Boyo or not, he's willing to make some miracles happen. Low ground control, though, belongs to Thomas HD and Queasy. They're trying to make some eliminations happen. They need those points. They've got 5 already, but Peterbot just continuing his massacre at this stage.
Keep your attention down at the bottom right now. Thomas HD just found elimination in low ground, and they're starting to put the pressure while Peterbot's trying to rotate. Thomas is going to find another one down low, and he is still cooking here. Meanwhile, Queasy backs him up and takes down Reet on the low ground there, and they are just turning up. This is why they're first and second place, giving into this 11 match right here. They are decimating the lobby.
It's a 1 versus 2 scenario, but Peterbot is just making it happen. Thomas HD and Queasy sitting at 8 eliminations already, though. But Peterbot gets another ritual isolated. No Reet in sight because he's been taken out earlier on. And Peterbot continuing to tarp his way through the low ground. There's a possibility, MDF, these two might actually just clash head on.
We have a 2v2 and then all solos in between. One of those solos is, of course, Peterbot. Rapid is gonna fall as well, and he just does not stop claiming eliminations at this point. Booga on the backside of zone. Don't come out, son. It's not gonna go well if you step into Peter's domain. Meanwhile, Thomas HD, Queasy are setting up into Peter's domain. Meanwhile, Thomas HD, Queasy are setting up the victory royale.
Thomas HD, Queasy, they know. It's Peterbot and Booga. That's all they have to deal with, but Peterbot gets a huge chunk out of Queasy. Thomas is gonna fall. One more shot could do it. Peterbot with the refresh, continuing to break through on the low ground. He's making the impossible happen.
Queasy versus Booga up top. Takes him down. Queasy versus Peterbot now. How badly do you want it? Queasy is looking for the tag. Both shots can easily go any way. Peter finds the first one. Can he get the second? He is incredible.
The second time today, Peterbot knew it was exclusively down to him, and left to his own devices, he delivers.
You just cannot make this up. He is too good.
Wow, wow, wow. Give it up for Peterbot and Boyo! You know, is that a taste of what's to come? The 1v1 versus Queasy, the last play of the game. Peterbot, you were out of your mind there.
Yeah, I don't know. So I eliminated Thomas, and then I knew Queasy killed one, right? And then I just knew it was a free win because it was Queasy and not Thomas, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. All right. Boy, yeah, this is... I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying this too?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, he solo clutched both our wins today, so, I mean.
We started the day with you guys, a good 60 points in the lead. You guys have been toe-to-toe with Thomas and Queasy all day long. It goes down to the last game now. That has got to be the greatest way to kickstart the last game of this competition. What are you guys going to, I mean, how do you kind of take in this moment, everyone watching around the world, everyone competing together, this is your time. Do you feel this is your time as a duo as well?
Yeah, I think they're gonna land on. Yeah, I think they're gonna land on us this last game, and then we're just gonna kill them, and that'll be it.
Okay, you expecting that as well? Do you think there's a chance that Thomas and Queasy may make the play and go for you guys and land where you're landing and challenge you?
I think so. Okay. Maybe.
I was gonna say, I've asked you guys so many questions over the course of the last 2 days. I'm gonna ask you what your favorite color is, Pierbot, and is it gold?
No, it's not, but that'd be nice to win, you know what I'm saying?
It would be nice. One more time, would you give it up for Peanut Butter Pollo? We could not have asked for a greater way to go into our final Game 12. It is so close now. FNCS Global Championships 2024 could not have asked for a better way to close things out. Do not go anywhere. Stay exactly where you are, because after this, we'll be crowning our champions. We'll see you in a bit.
Fortnite fam. Fortnite fam. We are seeing history being made before our very eyes. Vivid 11 2K Is that possibly the craziest clutch we have ever seen in FNCS history?
Stakes on the line, right? Like, it may not be like one of the, I don't know, like the craziest ones we've ever seen, but you have to take everything into account. On the stage, lights are on, fans are cheering. They're both first and second place. Peterbot's a solo, and he's just ice cold in the clutch. Levin, we can never count him out. How?
It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, this is everything you asked for. When Poyo goes down, you're looking at Peterbot going, surely he doesn't clutch again. We just saw one of the best clutches we've seen from him all year. And then with Queasy and Thomas in the lobby, they are just bossing it. It looks like if anybody else is in the lobby other than those two, it's a clear win for them. But for them to come blow to blow at the end there, Vivid, oh my goodness. This script is nuts.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There's no way. How would we have ever known? How would we know? And it's like in those moments, right? Top 25, you always kind of wish like the first and second team kind of go head to head. In a manner like this, though, where really Peterbot should not have been able to pull this off. Back against the wall, look at the materials, look at all, and yet he takes down Thomas, and then it's just a 1v1, and it comes down to angles? What are these angles, Vivid?
I don't know, like Peterbot's tracking is incredible. He just seems to always find the shot first, immediately build afterwards. Just, he's got like what, 25 HP right there, just takes no damage from Queasy at all. It is just insane.
I mean, thank you to those guys for making this the competition of ages, really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people came into today thinking it wasn't going to be close. They were going to run away with it, myself included.
Yeah.
But these guys have put up a championship winning performance, and you look at individuals, of course, Peter talking a bit of smack there, right, when he's saying he wishes he was happy it was Queasy instead of Thomas. But when you look at how Thomas has been playing, understandably so, Thomas has been absolutely on it all throughout the day. The shots he's been hitting has been so clutch. Oh man, I wonder how they're feeling after that, right? They would have expected to win that.
Do they even like? They probably don't even know what's going on. They're gonna watch this back and be like, he did what from where as a who? I mean, Queasy and Thomas are just going up against. I mean, you chatted with him, Levin, right? The words that were coming out of Queasy's mouth yesterday, he was like, "How do we beat that?"
I mean, he's making it look possible, at least, right? And
yeah.
And that was one of the things even he emphasized yesterday. He felt like it almost wasn't possible. But clearly is this here. When they start going up and you're like, oh my god, they're just gonna wipe everyone out of the lobby. That was one of the things even he emphasized yesterday. He felt like it almost wasn't possible. But clearly things even he's making it look possible, at least, right? And
yeah.
And that was one of the things even he emphasized yesterday. He felt like it almost wasn't possible. But clearly is this here. When they start going up and you're like, oh my god, they're just gonna wipe everyone out of the lobby at this point. Thomas drops down to try to take Booger out, and it's so unfortunate there that Peterbot is just lurking about in the bottom of the zone. I mean, in so many other situations, if you rewind that game, you rewind that end game, they win it more often than not, you'd reckon.
Yeah.
But fine margins. It comes down to the angles.
Hey, I mean, just listen to the crowd roar. Literally in that moment, everyone is losing their minds. This is still a close game, okay? Because I do want to call out here, Queasy and Thomas, they got 12 eliminations that game, right? So it's still, if Peterbot and Poyo go down early, Queasy Thomas could still win. I have a question, though. At the beginning of the show, Adam was talking with Queasy and Thomas HD, and he said, listen, if it comes to that, going into game 12, could we see and relive that invitational moment? What did Queasy say?
Queasy basically mentioned that if the gap between second and third place was enough, right? Enough to go ahead and justify, like, oh, listen, if we have a bad game 12, we get 0 points, we're still going to get second, and we're going for it. We're running it back from invitational. We're landing on Peterbot and Poyo 11. What does that kind of make you feel? You think they're going to do it or what?
I mean, the gap is there. You look at Peterbot and Poyo, and I know they've had some hiccups in the earlier games of the day, but you can't count on them going down early, right? That isn't just how these games have played out for the most part. And so if you really want to win, you want to take home that championship like we know Queasy and Thomas do, there is one play that can guarantee you that championship. and that is landing on them, taking the raft away from them, and winning out the game.
That's way too scary, though. Are we really saying we think they're going to commit to a raft? There's already duos there, and you know for those other duos are thinking we've got to slow them down. This could be an all-out fight at the raft.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to make the call. Like, could you imagine being Queasy or Thomas? Who's making that call? How do you make that call?
I mean, it's so tough. I mean, Queasy, I would assume, would be the one to make that call, but it's so much more complicated than that, right? Because even if you do land there and you take them down at the raft, there's other teams there, like you guys have mentioned.
Yeah.
What happens if one of these other teams, imagine a world where they take them down, right? Queasy and Thomas manage to land on them, take them down, and then Frex or someone else in the POI goes, all of it.
Left to go.
Only one emotion rushing through my body right now, and that is excitement. We're, what, 25 minutes away from watching that trophy up there get hoisted by our global championships. One more game separates us and that.
Levin, how are you feeling, man?
You want to know how I'm feeling? You want to know how I'm feeling?
Yeah.
I'm feeling like it all comes down to this. One more game remaining, legacies on the line. I think back to moments. This game's all about moments. Fortnite's about moments. I think back to the World Cup, the young Argentinian king fighting to push his family's life over, fighting for his destiny. I think back to even earlier yesterday, Swizzy, all the adversity he's faced, fighting up against the best duo in the world, Peter and Poy in a 1v2. He did it. I think back to the Invitational 2022. Queasy, Veno against Seti and Cammy to win it all. This game is about moments. Fort Worth, are you ready for a moment? Nah. Fort Worth, I said, are you ready? This is that moment. This is their moment. Game number 12 starts now.
And it couldn't be said any better. Match 12 is here, and the competition has never been closer.
Absolute chills listening to Levin, but he has a point here, MDF. This game is all about seizing the right moment. Pollo and Peterbot flying in to the raft. Company beside them, but no Queasy and Thomas in sight.
But you do have Danath and Tinker still here. Peterbot and Pollo will have to make it out of the drop. They will have to make all the way to endgame here to meet Thomas, HD, and Queasy to run it back one more time. Eliminations are going to be huge here for Pollo and Peterbot as they get to have a chance to open up the point discrepancy.
This is anything but a detriment, though, as far as Pollo and Peterbot are concerned. Danath and Tinka nearly helping them tally up an additional 6 points if they're not careful. All the while, Thomas, Queasy, they've just landed touchdown home base here at Research Rock. Brawlers Battleground, and a whole game ahead of them to try and stamp their mark.
And I know everyone at home watching right now is sitting on the edge of their seats. What is gonna happen? Who is gonna take it all home and lift the trophy at the end? The bragging rights of being the best duo globally across all of the Fortnite regions. Kovacs and Huddy still have so much to fight for as well, given that their podium finish is up on the line here. Let's not forget, third place is still a huge jump up in prizing and bragging. But for Kovacs and Huddy, they've been fighting this team every single game of the weekend so far. They've been relatively successful, but this is the last chance now.
Neither side willing to budge, but for Sky and Scroll, they seem to be on the receiving end for the most part. Huddy, Kovacs trying to close in. They know just how injured they actually are, but Kovacs a little bit too ambitious. Sky, Scroll, they're gonna find the first knock. It's exclusively up to Huddy to keep that podium finish alive.
It's not over yet, though. Huddy is way too healthy, and they recognize that this can go either way. Given how consistent he's been, beautiful tag right there onto one duo. Can he get the second? Surely he can, but the damage has been done, and he's forced onto the back foot, starting to run out of mats now. Armor wall comes out. Things are looking really dicey now for Huddy.
There's only so many ways that Huddy could actually choose to escape from this current position, however, and Scroll recognizes that fact. Scroll's gonna find that final elimination. Huddy and Kovacs have had a phenomenal run, but it's cut short. Pollo Peterbot doing the same currently to Trashy and Threats.
And now, there's no friends in sight. Everyone at the rack must go. Peterbot and Pollo need more points, and they want to start opening up the gap here. Trashy's gonna be the first to fall now.
That final elimination having been established there for Pollo and Peterbot. We've got a moment to take a quick listen in with some of our teams.
Wait for the cameras, I'm gonna mark craft, yeah? I just know the streams are going like, is Queasy gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Alright, bro. Let's get it. Fist bump, bro. Fist bump, man. Give me a fist bump, bro. Don't leave me hanging.
He thought about it. He tried to bait us. But no, you know, I do respect the fact Queasy and Thomas HD and their ability to stick to their guns, not be pressured into a decision that can throw their entire opportunity away. They've known that Peterbot and Pollo have not played perfectly today. However, when Peter has been online, when Pollo has been online, it is just incredible to witness clearly the clutches that he's put down today have proven just that.
Even when Pollo hasn't been there, the level of support that he's been able to provide for Peterbot and just fully trusting in his teammate, Peter, to clutch up every single time without fail. That is a huge amount of pressure rested upon Peterbot's shoulders, and yet he plays as if there's nothing weighing him down in the slightest.
What's really interesting about Peterbot and Pollo as well, the way they're playing right now, they're not taking any chances. Anything that moves is getting shot. You saw there, even clicks off in the they're hitting everyone back. They're gonna want 1,000 feet between them. And of course the trophy for now, but Ping and Wox here on the other side have been flying their way up the standings, truly earning their mark, making their mark here on the Globals stage. This is the grand finals, match 12 action happening right now. Yuma is gonna get his tournament cut short now. Wox has to clutch it up, but no! Rise has a different story on hand here. Gotta be careful now.
Damage has definitely already been done though by Wox and Ping. Even if Rise manages to overcome this 1 versus 2 scenario, without his duo, he's gonna have to make a play for the reboot ban, and that's gonna cost him so much time. Wox, Ping though, they've got other things in mind, and that's continuing their streak here in the final hour. 2 eliminations already, a third party closing in. They've got ample amounts of shield though. What they really need is more white heals and an opportunity to disengage, most importantly of all.
Honestly, from Wox, that was an incredible angle to counter the ramp that was thrown in the box right there. Quick thinking, swift action. It's gonna allow them to win that fight right there. Tinka has to be careful. They may have won an OCE championship, but here on the global stage, everyone is on equal footing. Things slow down for a moment. Other teams lurking nearby, listening, watching. Brazil, OCE, you never know who's gonna jump in first.
Teacher and Trulix, though, they're just sticking to what's tried and true. Surge base up, scour the entire area, and apply pressure onto the teams down in Doomsday. Keep in mind that's likely going to be Epic Whale, Muzz, Ritual one more time, having to deal with Trulex and Chicho's affairs, but Chicho, Trulex, definitely trying to be wary. A couple of shots found their way from the flank positions, and despite how high up they've managed to build these surge bases, you can still be vulnerable when you got these open edits.
No shots returning just yet, though. Everyone almost in position for good reason. Sphinx and Dukes on the other side, playing the Storm right now, trying to, of course, secure what they can here. What a performance from Dukes this weekend here. Again, flying straight up to the top, not really looking back after making the top 5. He has just been so consistent with Sphinx. A duo that honestly we didn't even see coming out of nowhere. Back on over to Vico and Flixie. The Railways pushed out very early this time around with this far western pull.
Part of the reason being, though, we saw Vico and Flixie last we checked in. They were trying to surmount a base around the forecast tower that spawns just a little bit next to Dopenhazen, but with Bryson Bolts right behind them, you almost have to imagine that Bryson Bolts potentially could have pushed them out of that position. Chapentini on the other end, they're trying to deal with the likes of Ed and Persa. Nitrodrome action only going to continue to pick up. There's a lot of commotion that both of these duos are making, and they're on the outside of the zone. Granted, they have plenty of time to work with. TD and Chap could also always opt to take this flaming boost tube if they feel as though this battle isn't worth their time.
Definitely are looking like it's time to get out of here. Couple eliminations, but time to just recoup, bounce back, get the materials, and find your way towards the mid game here. Meanwhile, Booga falls to the hands of Muzz and Epic Whale, and they are racking up the loot now. Other teams are still here at the Doomstot, though. Big rotates coming in, it seems like, from Reet and Ritual. Mapoli and Zoyota as well, just lurking, trying to find an opportunity here to pounce in.
That was a big set of eliminations, though, that Muzz and Epic Whale managed to find. And the fact that it was on to Aviv and Booga can be crushing when you consider that they had started to surmount the comeback potential, trying to maintain the top 10. Aviv unable to get the revive. Respect the commitment, but Muzz and Epic Whale just a little bit too quick on the collapse. Here, the crowd cheering as Thomas HD and Queasy come into view one more time. They're heading straight for this weapons bunker south of the Nitrodrome, and there's already company nearby. So instead, they might opt to pivot, take this flaming boost tube instead, Flowberry Fizz, and it's a fast rotate.
They're on the move right now, Swizzy and Yapko as well, just outside the Grim Grate. Trapped in between Murstache and Malibuka in the distance, a bunker here, of course, being the big upgrade to their loadout. The fact that they get this bunker completely uncontested makes a huge difference as well. Yapko with a single elim right now, starting to cap out on material. This is where focus will start to shift into where do they want to base down for the mid game. Jumping in with Boyo and Peterbot. You can see who's on the way here without giving it away. There is a very clear, determined play in motion right now to intercept this duo.
At the same time, though, you've got to time it right. Queasy and Thomas know Boyo and Peterbot, as long as they have Emma Frost reveal Medallion, every 50 seconds, that marker is going to go out. It is essentially full view of everyone surrounding you, and a big credit for as to why Peterbot has been able to find those two solo clutches for the victory royales here today.
Thomas HC is going to take a lot of damage there. It's time for Squeezy to possibly step up here, but Bakken Pars just going to back up, play that high ground, play that angle. More tags from behind. This is a huge setback now for Queasy here, forced to heal. loadout looking pretty scrappy as well, given that they don't have big upgraded weaponry, right? They could use a bunker, they could use an elite chest or something. They definitely need something.
They've at least got mats to work with, though, and that could be the ultimate difference maker. Rift Island spawning off in the distance. Kashoro, Keiki, but it's Pollo and Peterbot that'll be first to the top. Capture point in sight. And with the control of Rift Island nearly underway, Pollo, Peterbot from this position sitting just inside of the zone as well. Their next intent likely gonna be to just fully restrict the flow of this lobby.
And it's almost easy for them to know where the Rift Island is gonna spawn. They have the forecast tower. They know where the next zone's going. Obviously, the island's gonna be in it, if not extremely close like it is right now. So it makes sense. Pollo and Peterbot are isolated here, and they will be for quite some time. This is, again, probably the weirdest Rift Island we've seen off on the western coast.
And even worse still, it's just a little bit above a weapons bunker as well. With that in mind, Peterbot and Pollo know teams are going to want to get drawn towards that weapons bunker, but trouble afoot here for Vico and Blixie, incredibly low. Vico dropping immediately the ultimate low ground. It's a risky play whenever you opt try and glide in, but Casper, Prism on the other side of these walls, and they are looking for an opportunity to take this team out.
Taking walks in a fight right now, continuing to key the lobby down. They want to jump up into those positions, and now they fight their way into fifth here as they're ramping it way online right now. Vico and Flixie next door to Casper and Prism. Paper and Victor V looking inwards, trying to see what's happening here. You have Kanata and the reigning champ, Cooper, there as well. Very, very contested spot here. Meanwhile, Bolts and Bryce, who are our fifth place team coming in, but now slipping down just nearby.
But Bryce and Bolts, they're still slinking around restored rails, and they can hear all of the action, all of the shots being fired just west of them, sometimes a little bit south. Bolts, Bryce, scavenging everything that remains here inside of restored reels, but if anything, their primary focus is exclusively on just maintaining a strong placement to close today out.
Great tags from Chicho. Every time we've jumped in, he is just on it with Trulex here. They have played very, very well. It's that third place spot is what is open for them right now. They're gonna pop this Flowberry Fizz and get their rotate going now. Of course, have the dashes, given that it's right on top of the Grim Gate. And all things considering, if the zone ends on the Grim Gate, that will be a factor in its own to take into account for an end game.
Well, don't count it out just yet, because we're seeing that river of sticks get further and further into the heart of these zones. Kligs Veto caught up currently with Malabuka and Murstache. From one side of the map to the next, though, Murstache, Malabuka know that they're gonna need some elimination points as well. They lost a lot of their footing they had after the conclusion of day one. Day two, just too many threats, too many times of falling victim to the power of Oceana, Alex, and Worthy. And now Thomas HD, Queasy, they've managed to work their way from that sticky situation of dealing with Pars and Baka at the ship it station, but still more trouble afoot here because they are fully aware of the fact that this current surge base is not empty.
It looks like they're looking to gear back up to take the fight again because they have to here. But Queasy scarily leaving himself available and open, trying to tempt others to jump in. Meanwhile, Baka and Pars are gonna bring it down and then go for the catch. This could be everything here. Thomas takes a lot of damage. Queasy is hurt as well. The lobby sees what's happening here, and a desperate spray of builds starts to come out to try to keep them alive. No armored walls. This is the worst we've seen their loot
They went for a risky maneuver really early on for what looked like an attempt to intercept Peterbot and Pollo's pathing, but now instead they find themselves caught in the crosshairs, 2 below the damage threshold. Seemingly the first time it feels like this weekend that we've seen this duo truly struggle with their surge management, but just like that, Thomas, HD, Queasy, they find a moment of relief, a chance to breathe here, regenerate their shields as much as possible. But the situation continues to remain dire here for Vico, as he's a solo, no Flixie.
Lot of our top 3 right now in desperate situations for Vico here. What can you do? He's only 47 damage above the threshold. The damage needed starting to rack up here. He knows it, we know it. And now he moves. Goes back to where his teammate was fallen. Trying to get a little heal off here. And he is missing every opportunity to rotate. Thomas HD, Queasy have to go for a fight here. But no! They get caught and taken down! And just like that, the tournament run for Thomas HD and Queasy come to a close. Boyo and Peterbot effectively survived long enough to be your global champions.
Pollo and Peterbot, they're not even taking a moment to celebrate. It is all business as usual for these two. They want to leave it out with a bang. They're trying to find this last victory royale. Peterbot called it yesterday in interviews on socials. I will get 3 victory royales on the day.
Peterbot's dancing in the box. He knows what just happened. He knows they have done enough.
They died. Come on. Yeah. Hold them. Come on. Come on, bro. Let's go, baby. Let me look.
He knows. They know. Boyo can't even hide the smile.
Come on, bro. Let's go, baby. They died. Come on. Yeah. They died. Come on. Yeah. Hold them. Come on. Come on, bro. Let's go, baby. Let me look.
He knows. They know. Boyo can't even hide the smile.
What?
You know, you got to think about it. Every single major this year, they have been at the podium top, including the back-to-back coming out of the majors, and then to win the in-person event for the global competition. The interviews that were racked up across all of the competitors here pointed in one direction, and that's to Peterbot, that's to Boyo. And they are still showing up in the last game, and they'll very likely win this at this point.
Peterbot is an undisputed best player in the world currently, alongside his duo Pollo. They're still making sure to deal with the lobby as needed. Ping floating in the water here, but Peterbot and Pollo, second in Major 1. And then the hat trick to conclude the year, first place every single time. What more could you ask for?
And he's got some of the most victories pulled here on the grand final stage. Just keeping it so close as well. Nothing of a perfect performance by any means, but just so far ahead of the rest. Clearly, he's a cut above the competition, but for others, there's still a lot to fight for here as second and third are now out of the game. If Bolts and Bryce pull a big game here, they could very well jump their way up into some significant new prizing and maybe be called the third, maybe the second best team in the world.
They're not the only ones seeking it out either. You've got to keep in mind Trulix and Chicho, Wax and Ping. Also, Spinks and Dukes. It had a little bit of a slippage, but everyone is still within striking range, depending on who actually closes out. Lobby number 12, Bolts with the elimination from afar. It's going to be Baka that falls. Pars now a victim of the surge damage takes as well as the focus of the lobby, and he's taken out.
Bolt's on the move right now, looking to secure that loot. Nicely done for him, but they are barely holding on right now. The surge should turn offline here shortly. However, they still want to find damage just to give them that peace of mind. Meanwhile, Clix is still up, trying to navigate this game. So there's a lot at works here. Bolt's looking around, Bryce looking around. What opportunities are available here? Not many.
The problem is how chaotic these final few moments are about to become. Everyone's got access to this river of sticks. Next to the sword reels, the underworld dashes coming into effect. Teams able to conserve as much material as possible with these vicious rotates, not to mention the aggression avenues that it opens up with being able to immediately dash into somebody else's box. Clone, Kramsu even taking full advantage, immediately charging at Seti and Cammy, but it's Chicho and Trulex who are trying to make the difference here. Janet's gonna be taken out. Monarch pistol accuracy on point currently for Chicho.
He's just so good with it. The highlights continuing to rack up. Now Chicho and Trulex sitting underneath the box. The Sphinx and Dukes who have the high ground here, but a rotate has to come out. It's a long stretch from here to the new zone. Sphinx is on the move right now. 37 players in the game, 19 duos remaining. Pewterbot and Boyo still playing the low ground right now. They have eyes on Batman, Booger, and Rapid. They have eyes on Kanata and Cooper. Who will be the next to fall victim to your champions at this point?
Pewterbot and Boyo are floating through this lobby, quite literally second.
Fall victim to your champions at this point.
Pewterbot and Boyo are floating through this lobby, quite literally secondary height gonna fall under their control temporarily. They're still choosing to target forward, maintaining this front side position. They haven't challenged height just yet, but that scan bound to go out soon enough. They know Shadow Virgo directly underneath them. Bryce Bolts now trying to collapse into the same layers, but they realize it's Boyo, it's Pewterbot underneath us. We've got to escape.
They can't stick around him for too much longer, or it'll be disastrous. And what a storybook finish for Pewterbot and Boyo 2. They used to be the kings of Grim Gate, let's not forget it. They play very well with the underworld dashes at their disposal. Bolt and Bryce up against Phaser and King now. They are very, very weak. However, the Surge is online, and they're taking a lot of damage here.
And Bryce and Bolts fall now. Walks, Pink, Trulex, Chicho, bound to have smiles from cheek to cheek, but the job's not finished. They've got to keep powering through. Same could be said here for Boyo and Pewterbot. They've already secured the global championship, but they don't even care. They still want more.
Still makes you wonder how much harder everyone will need to work. They want to win this one and take it from Pewterbot and Boyo, because look at what they're doing. They want to close out in strong fashion, and Brazilian duo up top of Ed and Persa are standing in their way, and Boyo wants nothing to do with it.
Boyo, Pewterbot, they know only one player is between themselves and hype. Instead, they will drop momentarily. They already got an elimination. Pewterbot's still looking for more, though. Armored Wall's gonna cut him off for the time being, but Pewterbot, Boyo, they find King. Another 6 points added to the tab, and it's not done yet.
They're gonna heal all the way up now. A little bit of mats to work with here too, but they still need a bit more. Still looking for Ed, still looking for Persa, looking to break out the build. And I think they're up top, but no. They have everything to themselves now, but no material to work with.
Batman, Booga, and Rapid, they can tell up ahead. Teams pressuring onto their ceilings, but again, Teeny, Jap, has already fallen, and Teeny just trying to do what he can to navigate the chaos. He sees Rapid go down. He wants to make his way to the body loop, but he's not going to be able to scurry any longer. Immediately taken out by Boyo nonetheless. Pewterbot finds Teeny all the while. Virgo next to fall. And Trulex, Chicho just doing what they can to survive.
And look at who jumps down once again. Pewterbot, Boyo finding all these angles onto everyone. Meanwhile, Chicho lurking on the low ground takes out the immediate competition, securing their 3rd place. Pewterbot, though, wants to win here. He's looking to take it from Reet. Claps back with a huge shot. Things have to slow down now. Boyo comes up to support his teammate. The scan comes out. They know where everyone's at. The med kit is there as well. Boyo, the perfect partner in crime for what is unfolding here right now. And just a couple of duels left. They don't have a lot of HP. Boyo looking to show them what he is made of.
Boyo and Pewterbot have had so much time now to recuperate what they lost as far as health is concerned. Pewterbot's already got one knock on to Trulex. It's just Chicho standing between them at this point. And Pewterbot Everything was for this moment.
Would you please give it everything you've got for the FNCS Global Champions 2024 Peanut Butter! Congratulations. Come this way, guys. Come and stand in front of me. Bring the trophy with you. Come and stand just here, fellas. Bring that trophy because it is very much all yours. Wow, you've done it. The Global Champions Fort Worth! Peter, I'm going to come to you first. How does it feel to officially confirm Global Champion?
It means the world to me. I mean, we knew we were going to win coming into it, and we're the best duo in the world.
Poyo, the trophy is yours. It has been an incredible year. Tell us exactly what's going through your mind right now as well.
I mean, this is amazing. Like, we got second the first major, and then win. It's 3P.
We heard you earlier on the comms say, greatest in the world, baby. Is that what it feels like right now? You've proved it on this main stage.
Yeah, we are the greatest in the world. I will say that, for sure.
It's been an incredible 2024 for you guys. Back-to-back majors, the Global Championship as well. It feels unstoppable. How has your experience been this weekend? Everything play out as you planned? I mean, you came into this with such confidence, Poyo.
Yeah, I think we were going to win. Like, the first few games at the start of this day didn't go as like planned, but it ended up working in the end.
I'm going to ask as well here, you were really pushed to the limits there. You came in strong today. Bit more difficult, but you managed to ride through what the experience of this year and those major titles as well. That's really what feels like got you here as well to confirm officially greatest in the world.
3P. We got a 3P now.
I'm going to ask one last time as well. For you guys, Poyo, what do you want to say to the fans out there? I mean, Fort Worth, make some noise one more time. The fans there, everyone watching at home. Anything you want to say to them down the camera right now, just say, what do you feel? You and Peter Bolt right here.
Thank you for everyone being here. My family's here as well. Thank you to them. Thank you for being here.
Peter Bolt.
Same for me.
One more time, Fort Worth, would you please put your hands together and give it up for your FNCS Global Champions 2024, Peter Bolt and Poyo!
There you have it. After an unbelievable year, Peterbot, Poyo, from a record-setting major number 2 to the back-to-back champions, coming in, defending titles. And now, here in Fort Worth, our global champions. Gentlemen, take a deep breath.
I don't need a deep breath.
You don't need a deep breath. I love it. Guys, I want you to just bask in that for a moment. You've done it. You set an unbelievable record in Major 2. You back-to-back in Major 3. And then you take it that one step further. A global championship title.
Oh, bro, let's go, dude.
Poyo, you said you're here with your family. How does it feel, man, to know you're a global champion? You've worked so hard all year long. Your family is here. NA is here with you. Fort Worth is here with you. Dig deep, tell me, how does it feel?
Feels amazing. I mean, last year I didn't do like as good as I wanted, so now winning, it feels even better. And then with the fans, my family being here, it makes it even better.
Peterbot, same question, brother. Dig deep, let me know, how's it feeling?
I mean, I have like 20 family members in the crowd right now.
Let's go.
Feels the world, you know what I'm saying?
Awesome stuff, guys. Listen, it's hard because you guys have broken records throughout the entirety of the year, almost every single one that has ever existed. You guys got second, first. Now you went on the international stage. I guess the question for me is, are your eyes or your goals set on anything else? Like, have you done it all? Do you want to go further? Do you want to just keep winning? Where are we going?
I mean, you can only just keep winning.
Peter?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think we're gonna win 3 out of 3 next year, and win the globals next year too.
Wow.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Look, Pollo, you burst onto the scene last year. I remember you were trying out with Boog. Everyone said, "Who's this kid? Pollo, where's he come from? NA West, what on earth is going on?" Your rise has been incredible, and of course, understandably, everyone looks at Peter and goes, "This guy's the best in the world." But for you to have achieved what you've achieved the past 2 years, right? Talk to me about how you've done that and advice you'd give to young up-and-coming talent who want to do what you've done.
Yeah, so I got a good teammate, Spinks. We ended up getting 3rd, 5th. We got a coach that really helped us. So from that, and then I played with Peter. So then we won. So to the people like out there that want to play, just play, just play every day, and then just watch people, watch pros, watch your mistakes as well.
Guys, I want you to take a moment here. I just want you to just look around this stadium. Look at all of these fans standing up for you guys. They are here with you in this moment. You have created a moment in FNCS history that we'll remember forever. What do you guys want to say to these fans, to the fans at home who are watching and want to aspire to do what you do, who are literally yelling your name the same way these fans here have been yelling?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's home court advantage. The fans, you guys are amazing, and I appreciate all you guys for coming out and watching.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
Absolutely fantastic. Fort Worth, one more time, give it up for your global champions! Guys, thank you so much. Grab your trophy, get out of here, go celebrate. We'll take those headsets from you.
Congrats, bro.
Hey.
That's right, go on. One more time, Dickies Arena, let them hear it! Man, Vivid, Levin, what do we even say? What else could we say about this duo? They have not allowed us to talk about anybody else. We've tried. We have tried. And yet, every step of the way, they have stolen the spotlight. And now they walk away as global champions.
I mean, being closely associated with the NAFNCS throughout the year, there were doubts every single major for this duo to win it. Yeah, the first one they got second, but every single time they proved everybody wrong, and Levin was talking about it. I mean, there were huge doubts coming into the global championship this year. Oh, Peterbot not going to be as good in person. Well, I think this performance has shut everybody else up. I have no idea what negative things you could have to say about this duo. They seem unstoppable.
I think everyone's pretty much established that, yes, these guys are the best team in the world. Forget about that. They are the best team of all time. There has never been a duo this good. Speaking of individuals, of course, the big man, Skinny P, there has never been a player that good. Nobody has reached the levels he has shown us this weekend. The way he played, I don't know if anybody ever will. This guy is a different gravy. This duo is a different level. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for them, man. This is special.
Just to think as well, I mean, Peterbot, it's crazy to think about it, you know. He is just this star, but behind every star, there's always that player to help him shine brighter. Pollo, it didn't matter the situations. He was always right there with Peterbot. In those situations where it looked bleak, I mean, even in that last game, Peterbot gets absolutely cracked and is recoiling, and Pollo is there instantly. Here's the med kit. Get back in the fight. This is the last game. We must win.
Sometimes it's hard to visualize. Sometimes it's hard to quantify, right? Just looking at the pure statistics. But these type of performances from Peterbot were not happening before teamed up with Pollo. There is something special about the chemistry of this duo, and why it may not always be obvious, it is definitely there.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, these guys are the blueprint going forward. I think everybody sort of had conversations after that first major 2 dominance of, is this the future? Do you put 2 crazy fraggers next to each other and try to get them to figure out the game? I think we'll see a lot more duos in this mold being formed for years to come.
Just fantastic stuff, Levin. I have a question for you. You like to say that EU is on top, but how many FNCS Global Championship titles does EU have?
Go on.
How many Global Championship titles does NA have? Vivid, you were wearing a shirt yesterday. What was on that shirt again?
NA on top!
What do you got to say about that, big man?
Hey, man, 2024 has been NA's year. Absolutely. And I mean, no better duo you could have had than this one to be leading the charge for your region. I want to say a big props, of course. Everyone's going to, give Peterbot and Pollo the praise. Absolutely, they deserve it. A lot of people expected it to be a blowout coming into the Global Championships with how good they've been. For Queasy and Thomas to have pushed it to the limit, honestly, I can't even believe Thomas has come second again. Queasy on the global stage to come second again. It hurts. It hurts me. It will hurt them. But props to them for just how good they've been and at least pushing us to the final game. That was something many people would have never expected to happen. So props to them and the rest of the EU boys filling up that top 6. The rest of the EU boys filling up that top 6. Super impressed by all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have to give Queasy Thomas flowers, right? They were the only duo. The moment Peterbot and Pollo started to pull away, they were the only duo that could hang. And it came down to the wire there. If their loadout had been just a little bit different, this could have been just infinitely changed. To see, obviously, Viv, I would have loved to see just like Invitational, and he knew what he was doing, but still to have just an amazing run. And of course, $300,000 there to the duo for coming in second place. Once again, life-changing amounts of money. You have to be proud of this duo.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost guarantee you that they're going to be heartbroken, even though second place is incredible. And we do have to point out the fact that, yeah, we came into day number 2, or maybe even the global championships as a whole being like Peterbot and Pollo. They're going to run away with it. It's not even going to be close. But Queasy and Thomas, they gave us that race. They were very, very close. They were applying the pressure to Peterbot and Pollo, and that alone deserves its own recognition.
Look, I've been handing out flowers just now. I'm going to hand out some more flowers. I just got up on that stage a second ago and was talking about moments, right? One of the moments I mentioned involves Queasy 2 years ago at the Invitational. He is now a part of, again, one of the best moments we have had in Fortnite history. This is the best IGL of all time, the greatest IGL of all time. Again, he might not be happy hearing that. Now all he would have been caring about is the chip, winning the championship. But give Queasy his flowers. GOAT status.
That's right. I mean, and of course, just a massive reminder, these are the 50 best duos in the world for Fortnite. If your favorite duo maybe did not, win or walk away into placement that even they thought was worthy of winning or walking away, please go find them on socials. Go send them love. They are one of the 50 best duos in the world. And they competed and left everything on that stage for you at home, for everyone here in this arena, and for Fortnite history.
It's been an incredible year. 2024 closes out with a bang. Global Championship delivered. We were jumping up here on the stage. We were screaming. There's probably been some voices lost throughout the arena. Shout out to the Fortnite fam and everybody associated with the competition. And a big shout out to the competitors for keeping it clean throughout 12 games. You guys delivered. Thank you for the show. And one big congratulations to Peterbot and Pollo.
Got to echo what Vivid said.